Okay, so Larissa, I can start. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the closing ceremony of Beirut AI's AGRI Hackathon. We are very excited to be having you all with us today, participants, mentors, judges, and organizers. We are looking forward to hear all the participants' pitches. Before we officially start, we would like to have a brief overview over Beirut AI, the hackathon, and how our week went, and then we can move directly into the pitches. So for those of you who do not know, Beirut AI is the biggest applied artificial intelligence community in Lebanon. We are on a mission to enable everyone to understand and apply artificial intelligence and to have access to the tools to be able to apply AI. We do that by hosting different events and programs. We have our AI bootcamp, the bootcamp that some of you participants have been part of recently, which is a compact bootcamp, 5 days of 5 different AI topics tackled theoretically and practically. We have our AI weekend, which is an event for hosting technical workshops and business AI workshops, along with meetups with practitioners and different experts in the AI field. We also have our hackathon, similar to the hackathon that we are hosting today, and our ambassador program, where we have different ambassadors in different Lebanese universities that help us in our mission. We are part of a larger community called City.AI, leveraging the potential of AI in more than 60 countries. And we are proud to say that Beirut AI is one of the most active communities in these countries. Now, what is the AGRI Hackathon? So the AGRI Hackathon is a 3-day hackathon for building innovative solutions for the different agriculture problems in Lebanon. It is a chance for you to grow your skills, to get to implement AI in a real-world problem. And at the same time, it's an opportunity for you to build for your community. So we are very proud of all your efforts for actually reaching this far and having projects tackling these issues. We would like to thank our hackathon team. They have worked tirelessly for making this hackathon a success. So Larissa, Reem Jalaluddin, Vestal, Zainab, and Reem Gharzuddin, they have all made so much efforts for making this hackathon happen. So thank you a lot for everything. We have our mentors. Our participants had the chance to get into mentoring sessions yesterday with technical and business mentors who have helped them shape their projects and reach a better version of their ideas. So thank you a lot for the mentors for taking time out of their schedule to actually help the participants. Thank you also for our partners. We have our community partner, Zaka, and our strategic partner, AgriTech. And we also have our sponsors, DX Talks and 961 servers, who have also helped in actually making this hackathon happen. Now, the best part, which is the prizes of our Agri Hackathon. So for the first team will get $500 cash per team. The second team will get $300, and the third team will get $200. All teams will also benefit from free access to the Beirut AI weekend workshops, which are happening in March. They will get to be selected to the final selection of the AgriTech Accelerator program, and they will get technical mentorship from Beirut AI if they want to advance the AI part more of their project. They also get servers to host their projects on from 961 servers. Now, some of the fun parts that have happened during our Agri Hackathon. So it's very nice to meet you all, to get to see your enthusiasm for building solutions, building AI solutions, helping Lebanon's agriculture. So it was very good to meet everyone. One of the challenges that we had in our hackathon was solving a Rubik's Cube. So Muhammad Khalifa actually got to solve the Rubik's Cube in 6.5. He obviously won the challenge, 6.5 seconds. So congrats, Muhammad, for that. It was so nice to get to see your engagement all outside the project scope and the competition. It was so nice to see your efforts everywhere. So now to move to the final pitches, we would like first to meet our judges. So we have with us Mario Ramadan, Christophe Zoghbi, and Imad Al-Haj. I think it would be best if the judges introduce themselves. So maybe we can start with you, Mario, if you would like to open your camera maybe and introduce yourself to the participants.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Mario Ramadan, and I'm the Accelerator Program Manager for AgriTech. I'm very excited to get to see the projects that are about to be presented. My background is in program management and in business, so I help businesses become sustainable. And I'm hoping that we could get a brilliant idea or more today that we could potentially help at AgriTech to scale and become a successful business that could bring profitability to Lebanon and create new job opportunities. That's about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us, and we hope that too. Dr. Imad Al-Haj, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Good afternoon. I'm a professor at AUB in electrical and computer engineering. My interests are at the intersection of robotics, instrumentation, and networking. I'm also at the same time a partner at Sogo 360, which is a networking, communication, and security company out of Beirut. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your time. Christophe, if you would like to open your camera maybe and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my camera is open. Can you guys see me? Yeah, all right. So thank you, Dalia, and hi, everyone. I'm Christophe Zoghbi. I'm the founder of Beirut.AI, and I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Saka. And I'm very excited to see what everyone has prepared, has worked on throughout this hackathon. And hopefully we get to see some cool ways to apply AI on agricultural problems. So good luck to everyone, and let's get started with the pitches.
Thank you, Christophe. Okay, so now that we have met our judges, our final guidelines for you to remember. So each team again has 5 minutes to pitch. You will be timed and interrupted when the 5 minutes are over. Each team will have 2 to 3 minutes of Q&A with the judging panel. One person has to present the pitch and has to be sharing the screen on Zoom. And all the team members are required to be present to be able to answer the questions of the judges. So best of luck for all of you. We can officially start with the pitches. We can start with team 3. So if you're ready, please, you can share your screen and start with your pitch. So team 3, Bugs Be Gone. Who of the team is here?
Hi.
Okay, hi.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Tufir. I worked on this project with my teammates Khulud, Anna Maria, and Tala. So have you ever wondered why bee colonies are dying at such alarming rates? Do our internet and phone signals really affect how bees navigate their environment? Or is it something else? My team and I decided to find out and integrate AI to save the bees. So as we know, bees are super important. They are also known as nature's pharmacists. They're responsible for pollinating almost 1/3 of all our crops and food. Nowadays, bees face many threats, including climate change and pollution. However, a tiny parasite is threatening to wipe out our entire bee colonies, also known as the Varroa destructor. Don't let this cute-looking creature fool you. This mite attaches itself to pollinating bees and can destroy entire beehive colonies in 1 to 3 years due to its rapid reproductive cycle. After several interviews with different beekeepers, we realized that daily mite management will increase labor time by 40%. In addition, chemical treatment at the wrong time can cause bee stress and bee sterility. So according to this hierarchy chart, as we go up the hierarchy, we increase bee stress, and as we go down the hierarchy, we are increasing beekeeping labor. So our product will need to compromise between these two solutions. Our product, the destroyer monitor, does this job perfectly. A plastic box is mounted to the entrance of the hive, which contains wide lens cameras and an AI algorithm. This camera monitors every bee the hive captures. It captures an image every second, while the algorithm detects if a varroa mite is present. If present, the unit will send an alert to the beekeeper's phone. From the collected data, the algorithm can calculate the level of mites in each beehive, and then other beekeepers can open the map in our application and monitor the health of bees in their surrounding area. So our target market will mainly include small family-owned businesses and beekeepers all over Lebanon. More than 8,000 rural households earn primary or secondary income from beekeeping. Lebanon also is an exporter of honey, exporting around 50 tons per year. Lebanon also enjoys over 300,000 beehives, and beekeeping is estimated to be a $40 million industry. There's a lot of money and improvements to be made in beekeeping. We estimate our product to cost around $90 per unit. For our revenue model, the product will be free, which will definitely generate a buzz in the Lebanese beekeeping community. Customers will pay a small installation fee and a monthly subscription that gives them access to the application. We can also accept honey as currency if the beekeepers don't want to sell their honey. According to these calculations, we will estimate a first-year sales revenue of around $500,000. For our business scalability, we will look to scale our business by producing in-house with larger quantities at a cheaper cost. We will also franchise our product and services to Syria, Jordan, and the Gulf countries to expand our market and create communities abroad. The honey that we collect from our customers can also help us penetrate the honey exports market. As we can see in this graph, Lebanon exports honey to these countries, and we can see an increasing trend in honey exports. So this is a great opportunity. Finally, we will look to collaborate with NGOs to raise awareness and attract new members to the beekeeping community. Our AI was trained and tested on over 5,000 images of bees collected from different beekeepers in the state of Georgia. As we can see, the graph, the loss we obtained shows that our model operates very well, since the training and testing loss are very similar. We achieved an accuracy of 99%. For the future, we will develop and launch our application and update our code to calculate and keep track of mite levels in different areas. We will also train the AI on local bee images for better results. Invest in bugs be gone, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Tawfiq. Thank you for the team, bugs be gone. So now we can take a few questions from the judges.
Hi, Tawfiq. Thank you for the presentation. I have a couple of questions on the prototype or the AI algorithm that you built. So you said that, can you give me a bit more details about the algorithm, what data you used, what was it exactly, and what were the steps that you used to build it?
I let my technical leads, Anna and Tala, answer this question, if anyone of them is up for it.
Hello, I'm Anna. We used a dataset found online on Kaggle, which consists of bee images, 5,000 images, and a CSV file containing the information on the location and the number of samples, and if the bee is healthy or has varroa mites or ant problems or anything like that. And we trained our model, which consists of 3 convolutional layers. Each layer was followed by a dropped-out layer and a max pooling layer. And that's it.
So it's a classification model?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, team. I have a couple of quick questions.
Hi.
So you will need several cameras, right, to get the different views from the bee?
Yes, mainly we will need 2 wide lens cameras.
Okay, and my understanding, I've been involved in similar project related to this problem before, and my understanding is that the mites go under the wings and might not be visible when they're entering the gate. Is that accurate or no?
The mites, from most of the pictures that we saw, the mites are actually attached to the back of the bee. However, we need to run further tests and see if it is more effective to have 2 cameras, one taking pictures from the top and one from the bottom, or if it's sufficient to have only cameras taking pictures from the top. So our idea is that once the bees enter the box will have a transparent layer that they can walk on before entering the beehive. And then we will decide to either have cameras only taking topography pictures or another camera that's situated under the transparent layer to also take pictures from the bottom. So this will need more work from our research and development team to find the best positions for the cameras.
Okay, thank you. That's it for now.
Dr. Ahmad, you have a question?
Hello.
Hi.
Anna, I have a question to you related to the to your competitive landscape. I've seen a lot of applications that relate to preserving and maintaining bee colonies, and so you didn't mention any major competition in the presentation. So are you aware, number one, of any potential competition, and how does your solution differentiate itself from alternative competitions available in the market?
Okay, so in Lebanon currently, there's no direct competition that implements AI to save bees. However, we're aware that there could be other startups working on this particular project. So what differentiates our project is that it is not replacing the other chemical and physical treatments for varroa mites. However, it works complementary with them to help the beekeepers save labor cost and labor time. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the judges and for team 3. Up next, we have team 10, Greensmiths. So if you can share your screen and go ahead and start.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, all good. You can start.
Hello, and welcome to the UrbaGrow startup presentation. The world is witnessing constant city expansion with growing challenges in all sectors. Urban agriculture is an efficient solution to these challenges, but is still underexploited and not accessible to all citizens. Our initiative aims at improving several aspects of the economic, environmental, social, and health sectors in urban areas, as well as exploiting AI resources to benefit the agricultural industry. Our solution is UrbaGrow, an AI-based online marketplace where locals can rent out their fertile lands and equipped urban spaces to citizens for them to plant and grow their own crops. Through UrbaGrow, landlords and even government corporations have a new way to earn profits from their unused properties, and citizens are granted access to personal urban agriculture. Now, what makes our solution extremely unique is the fact that it has not been implemented before in the MENA region and in Lebanon specifically. For our market size, a city like Beirut has available rooftop area of approximately 4 kilometers squared, in addition to thousands of vacant lots and unused backyards adequate for farming. As for our potential customers, globally, 1 out of 3 persons grows his or her own crops. Now, locally, our conducted survey of 74 responses showed that 87.5% of citizens are willing to pay to practice urban agriculture. In addition to that, companies such as restaurants and whatnot can benefit from our services as well, not just individuals. Now, moreover, the organic food market has been constantly growing in the Middle East and expected to reach $18 billion by 2022. Our main revenue stream is acquired from a commission percentage set on each space booking done. Other revenues could be generated from advertisement and sponsorships as well. These pictures of our prototype website linked above show the API containing the different options, which are Find Your Spot, where the user can search for a space of his choice according to size, location, price, date of booking, facilities, and so on. Second, tutorials, where we will offer tips and videos on how to plant and grow several crops. Third, rent out your property, where a landlord or property owner can rent out his space. And fourth, which is finally, connect with the rest, where forums and chatting rooms will be available for the community to share experiences and advices in agriculture. AI is present in our solution in 3 different features. First, price estimation using a prediction equation with variables and adjusting coefficients based on user feedback. Second, in the generation of automated responses to user messages using the IBM Watson method. And third, for search recommendations with a collaborative filtering algorithm based on user data. Our prototype needs time and work to be built, but we started the task and are confident in the feasibility of the idea. As a conclusion, citizens have little or no access to agriculture. Forgotten lands and spaces in cities have very little value without a big investment. UrbanGrow is the online platform that uses AI to solve these 2 urban challenges by linking gardeners to the available traffic spots around them. This initiative holds with it various significant impacts ranging from providing cities with green spaces to boosting the economy, reaching the well-being of citizens. Now let us introduce ourselves. Nabil and I are 2 Lebanese civil engineering students seeking to have impact and positive influence on our society. We believe to have the needed leadership, management, and business skills and knowledge to launch this startup, and are confident about the feasibility and value of our solution in the context Lebanon is currently in. Our team is, however, incomplete. We will need to include a software developer with us to help us build the functioning prototype. We already won 4th place in a hackathon powered by Amazon Web Services, and our objectives are now to receive funding and mentorships to advance and concretize our idea. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sarah, for your pitch, and thank you for your team. We can now take questions from the judges. Dr. Imad, you can go ahead and
Sarah, I missed an important part. You said you don't have a prototype of the AI yet.
The AI, we don't have a prototype. Yes, we have a website which does not include AI yet. We have a code which my fellow teammate could explain about, but we did not implement it in the website yet.
Do you have any more details about what you have in mind to do there? Because it's an interesting idea, but the hackathon, my understanding today, is AI focused. So we need a bit more details about the AI to help you out here.
Nabil, my teammate is responsible for the technical part.
Yes, sure.
Yes, of course. Hello, my name is Nabil. So first of all, me and Sarah are have both weak software computer science background. However, we did the research and understood the AI in our solution. So basically, as Sarah explained, we have AI in 3 features: the price estimation, the search recommendation, and the automated chat box responses. And we understood each one, how it should function and what components of AI it should include. So if you have a question on one of these 3, I could answer.
So do you have a model for the price estimation, for example?
We do not have the model yet, but we know that it should be an equation having several variables with several coefficients, and this equation should be used in a machine learning algorithm to update the coefficients according to the user feedback. So give more weight to one variable over the other according to user feedback and what pushed the user to rent this place, for example.
Okay, thank you. Noted.
Okay, thank you, Nabil. Do we have questions from Christophe or Mario?
Anna, I have one question here.
Okay, sure.
I saw that the startup name is Greensmith, right?
No, actually, our team's name is Greensmith. The startup name is Urbagrow.
Okay, so I saw that you guys, ladies and gentlemen, have a set of features that you want to launch. And for me, they seem a bit too big for a startup, like having all these business functions and operations working together simultaneously with a startup that has little feedback early on in the business and a small amount of money to burn potentially. So is there like a roadmap on what you want to apply first, what comes in second, or is that like the whole bunch that you want to deliver as an early stage prototype or a functional MVP?
Of course. So the first step, I guess, would be to gather data, like do more surveys, analyze the market more, and be sure of the existing landlords that are willing to rent their property and the existing citizens that are willing to pay the affordable price to access to urban agriculture. Then the second step would be to implement the AI in our solution and starting collecting databases of users and starting the process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So Christophe, do you have a question for the team?
No, Dr. Ahmad actually asked the questions I wanted to ask, so I'm good.
Great. So thank you, Team Greensmiths. Up next, we have Team 11, Gradient Descenders.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Okay, so you can share your screen.
Can you see?
Yes, all good. You can start.
Okay, great. So in Lebanon, it's estimated that 30% of all edible food is gone to waste, and surprisingly, the same percentage reflects the percentage of the population that's living under the poverty line. And actually, 65% of that waste is made up of organic food, such as fruits and vegetables. So this is what inspired us to come up with the idea for this project, which is developing an AI system for wastage reduction of organic food. So a major source of this waste comes from supermarket. There isn't any exact numbers on how much supermarkets waste in Lebanon. However, a common practice that we know of is that supermarkets tend to throw out leftover produce at the end of the day. So this is why our objective is to suggest dynamically changing prices of produce with the ultimate aim of extending the shelf life, increasing revenue, and mitigating organic food wastage. So to describe the overall system, it's basically an embedded system that we would like to install that aims to monitor the freshness of produce throughout cameras. And the goal is to dynamically change the prices of the produce until they hit a certain threshold at which they're no longer edible and nearly rotten. So most supermarkets throw out produce when they are still at a medium level of freshness, but they're still very edible and they look fine. So we aim to detect this level of freshness, and we want to suggest moving these produce to specific aisles where they would have discounted prices based on their freshness level. So ultimately, we based our work on images, but we would like to integrate other important factors into the decision-making process, intangible things like weather, seasons, past and future expected shipments, which would be very important. But to start, we only had a data set available online, which contains images of apples labeled with their freshness quality. So it's either fresh, medium, or rotten. And we developed an image classification model to detect this level of freshness. And we used a state-of-the-art ResNet model, specifically ResNet 152v2, and we freezed all of its convolutional layer pre-trained on ImageNet, and we added some dense layers, dropout layers, and we fine-tuned this model, these classification layers for apple freshness detection. And we used the Adam optimizer and other hyperparameters. So our model didn't have, it performed below par in terms of test accuracy, mainly because of the quality, the poor quality of the data set we used. Ultimately, we would want to have a cleaner data set. We would want to manually craft a data set that has a similar data distribution of what our model would be expected to receive as input when it's deployed in the real world. And it should be inclusive of all the produce that we would like to monitor their levels of freshness. And also when we want to ultimately, as a future direction, to facilitate time series analysis. And this happens when we include the other factors that I mentioned a few slides earlier. But this needs proper communication with our target market to really know, to be aware of all the logistics and to know what their pain is to actually relieve it. So we're not aware of any local competition. We're aware of similar startups in other countries that have the same aim or target as ours. And our target market is basically supermarkets. Some of them are multinationals such as Finis and Carrefour. Other local markets also would be interested in our product. And the revenue of our product would be mainly from its installment and maintenance. And that's basically the idea. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you, Tariq, for your presentation. Maybe we can start with business questions. Mario, if you have.
Sure, yeah. Just to make sure I got it right, you detect the level of freshness of the food, and then how, what benefit does that bring to the supermarket?
Hi, I'm Salwa. I'm part of the team.
Hi, Salwa.
Yeah, so basically, we want to extend its shelf life. So first of all, we want to dynamically change their prices within the regular shelf life that the supermarket uses. So maybe a day or two before they throw them out. Another part of that is to dynamically change the prices after we cross this certain threshold, because at this point, it's common practice in other countries, not in Lebanon, that these types of food, okay, they don't look very appealing to the average consumer. They're not as perfect as the other produce, but they're still very much edible, and some people would be willing to pay buy them for discounted prices. So then they could be moved to other parts of the supermarket, maybe discounted aisles, where they can be sold for lower prices.
Okay, so it would remain within the same supermarket, but it would probably go to the discounted aisle. That's it.
Yes, that's the second part. The first part is that within the same shelf life, which is 1 or 2 days, we would also be applying some small discounts to ensure that they are sold out faster.
Okay, and so how would you work around certain supermarkets that have a specific type of clientele? So the clients, for example, of Spinneys are not driven by price; they're driven by value. Versus the potentially the people who would end up buying from the co-op. They both sell similar items, but what differs here is potentially the brand image and the type of people coming into the supermarket to buy in. So, for example, how would you consider that to be something beneficial or detrimental to your business? Because
yes,
I don't
exactly.
think Spinneys, for example, would be interested to display less qualities that produce that is of less quality, because their clientele more probably are the ones that are middle class towards the upper one and are more driven by value rather than price.
Exactly. So our product should be customized to the certain supermarket we're selling it to. So it's not like a generic product. So what happens is that, as you said, every supermarket have their own priorities. Maybe, as you said, Carrefour would not mind, let's say, showcasing these products, but Spinus would. But the same concept applies, that dynamically changing the prices until we hit the threshold at which the supermarket would not want to buy them would still work. So, for example, at Spinus, we could still dynamically change these prices until we hit the certain threshold that Spinus would agree with. That, okay, at this point, I don't want to sell this product anymore. I don't want to sell these apples or whatever. But maybe at Carrefour, it would be different. So it is basically a customized product that we would know how to develop after communicating with with our market, with Spinus or Carrefour or any other supermarket.
Fair enough. And my final question here is, how do you plan on monetizing in this model?
Basically from maintenance and from the installment, the initial installment.
Okay, not the service or the savings you do, for example.
We were thinking that as it is an embedded system, that it would be basically the installment of the system and then maybe the maintenance over time and the updating of the system.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it from my end.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can take one technical question to the time limit. So, Christoph, do you have a question?
Yes. So first of all, I like the idea. I think you guys mentioned a lot of details on the technical side, which shows that you more or less understand the technical challenges of this project. So very quickly, I just want to ask, you mentioned that you had poor results when you trained the ResNet model on the data set. Can you give us more idea of how bad were the results? Why was it bad? For me, I think it looks like an easy problem. You got the data, and I think you had enough images. So can you give us more ideas about why the results were not satisfactory?
Okay, so we're facing a major overfitting problem, and after we took a very comprehensive look at the data we had, we noticed that the type of images was not very clean, and they were very much repeated. Like we had the same image, but then repeated with slightly different angles. We did add dropout layers. We did try out different models. We did the model did very well on the validation, on the cross validation, and on the training. But then on the testing, it was not doing very well. So we deduced that the data itself is not very clean, and we would want to invest in developing a new data set, our own data set that is more reflective also of the images you would find at the supermarket. Okay. Because they were just individual images of individual apples or oranges.
Okay, I see. And you mentioned you tried different models. Can you just mention what are the models you tried?
First of all, we tried regular CNN. We built like a sequential CNN, and then we tried the Inception model. We tried VGG16, and we ended up at ResNet.
So this was the best performing model?
Per se, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Salwa.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can move to team 11 now, gradient descenders. Or sorry, team 15. Yes.
Hello.
Farm companion, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
It started when our teammate Hassan tried to plant some crops in his grandfather's farmland. After many days of growing the crops, he noticed damage in them. Turns out, a group of rabbits were targeting the leaves of the crops and were destroying the yield. The traditional ways they used to prevent the animals from accessing the farmland were ineffective. A rabbit is one of the many animals that pose a threat to our agriculture. According to World Bank statistics, the crops damage caused by pests is estimated to be more than $3.5 trillion each year. This is why we came up with Farm Companion. Our product uses a thermal camera to detect the animals in the field and send its location to the drone automatically. Then the drone identifies the animal using AI and emits specific frequencies to scare off the animal. These frequencies are inaudible to the human ear. For example, we can use a frequency of 60 kHz to repel rodents and 20 kHz to repel birds. According to the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, this method has been proven to be effective in repelling animals, contrary to other alternative choices such as guard dogs or fences. This in turn protects the crops and minimizes the damage. The drone includes many advanced features. It uses an efficient AI code, it is equipped with a frequency emitter, it is solar power charged, and it is linked to an app. The thermal camera detects infrared rays from the moving animal upon approaching the farmland. The camera can cover an area of 40 dönum when placed in the middle. This is equivalent to 4 football fields. This is a short demonstration of how our product functions. Our device is easy to use, especially for farmers who tend to lack exposure to technology. It is energy efficient. It uses solar panels instead of electric generators. It is accurate in identifying animals. The thermal camera has a very wide range, which can cover an average Lebanese farmland. Its maintenance is cheap since the product is durable and of high quality. It is waterproof and the devices are connected via IoT. Our AI system is also linked to an app. This app displays all the information that the farmer needs to know about his land. Once the system detects a pest, it alerts the farmer and asks him if he wants to contribute to our data system and help us increase the accuracy of our AI model. The farmer then confirms if the animal is, for example, a bird or not. If not, he can add the name of the pest accordingly. This is the code that will run the drone messages frame by frame and notifies the user if an animal is present. After conducting, we tested the code that we previously introduced, and the model accurately detects the type of animals entering the farmland. After conducting a survey with 17 farmers from different regions in Lebanon, 85% showed interest in our product after showing them our business model and the approximate savings our product will ensure. Farm Companion is able to reduce the crop losses by animals, which are estimated to be approximately 20% each year, to 3%, which will increase the crop yield and in turn will increase the income of the farmer. In addition, sheep, birds, dogs, and turtles were among the most common types of animals that were involved in damaging the crops. As you can see, after conducting a thorough market study of the agricultural sector in Lebanon, we followed these steps to estimate the number of potential clients of our product, and we were left with 55,000 customers. We contacted trusted suppliers and reached out to different suppliers and we reached an optimal cost of our product while preserving the quality of each component. The total cost of our device is $878 and we added a marginal profit of 20%. So the total price per farmer is around $1,050. We intend to collaborate with early adopters, such as farmers who express their interest in our product from our survey. The beta testing of our product will help us in data collection, and this will increase the accuracy of our product and help us optimize it according to their feedback. Our first customers will be large farm companies, such as Al Wadi Al Akhdar in Lebanon. They export their products abroad, and this gives them access to foreign currencies. This will enable us to strengthen our business and extend our budget so that we become able to provide multiple payment options to customers. This ensures that all interested farmers are able to afford this product. This also includes collaborating with Lebanese Farmers Syndicate, which is in direct contact with all farmers in Lebanon. We are planning to reach out with the president of the syndicate post-lockdown. As you mentioned before, our plans are to partner with a drone manufacturer and to develop the product and beta test it on the farmers we surveyed. And we hope to use cloud services to scale the project later and help detect plant diseases using AI. This is our team. As you can see, we specialize in diverse backgrounds. And these are our phone numbers, and we're currently building our website. And yeah, we hope you can share with us any further recommendations that you find suitable with our product. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima and team, for your presentation. Maybe we can start with technical questions now. Dr. Imad, do you have a question?
Yes, a couple. Fatima, thank you. The use of the drone is very tricky. I suggest you try to get rid of that. I mean, I love drones, we work with them, but they would bring a lot of complexity for you in such an environment. Rain, wind, many conditions that would make it not feasible application for drone. On the AI part, the data set you used is vision or is the thermal images?
Hello, I am Maroon, a team member. So
hey,
basically, The computer vision helps detect the animal, detect the presence of an animal, and then and then it sends its location to, it approximates its location to the drone, and then the drone is sent where it detects the animal and basically classifies it what animal is it.
Right, but my question is on the model you've developed, exactly on the data set that you've used. This is a regular camera or a thermal camera? Because I was under the impression it's a thermal.
No, a regular camera.
So this does not work at night.
The drone should be equipped with a flashlight.
You would need a floodlight to if you have several dönum land as you claim, and you want to take a clear picture of it, you have to have a huge floodlight throughout. So at night, where most of the pests would come, you will have a very big disadvantage. Or you need major lighting system to have it lit up. But didn't you say thermal at the beginning? I thought I saw in early slides it was a thermal image, not a.
It's
can
both.
You scroll up? Sorry, Maroon, I didn't hear you.
It uses both, but the data set at the moment that we're using doesn't use thermal imaging, but we will work on that.
Okay, and what was the accuracy and what was the model you used for this data set?
I used an open source library. It's called the Computer Vision Library. It provided a trained model ready to use for animals, and it's very accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Christoph, do you have other technical questions?
No, I think I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, so we can move to Mario. If you have, we can take around a minute for the question.
Anna, I don't have a business question. I actually have a potentially technical question. They said the team stated that they will be firing low frequency transmissions towards the animals. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and at what frequency range is that?
Depending on the animal. So the AI system detects the animal, it identifies it, and according to each animal, it emits a certain frequency.
Okay. You are aware though that is the AI system capable of identifying one animal versus another, and how high is your confidence interval in that case?
Because
you could run into potentially legal issues if you're firing especially low frequency. If you're using low frequencies, you could go into legal complications when implementing the product, mainly because it could cause harm or damage to pregnant women. Because the fetus could, if a woman is on the field and you misidentify the human for an animal, you could potentially put a fetus at risk in that case. So is your system capable of differentiating, and to what confidence interval is it able to do that?
So yes, after conducting the research, it turned out that each animal gets disturbed from a certain frequency. So we said like rodents if we use a frequency of 20 hertz, they would be disturbed and will move away from the farmland. And we took the frequencies, so they are undetectable by human ear. So the program that we used was 90% success rate in determining the animal, and it can distinguish two animals at the same time. So it's accurate.
Also,
and make it more accurate.
Also, I would like to add, most of the frequency used are like really high and ما بيأذوا أبدا الإنسان. لأنه most of the animals are afraid from high frequencies, like above 30K, according to scholarly articles we've read.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, team. We can move now to team 17, Mektek.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, all good. You can start.
Hello, my teammate Mark and I will be presenting our project for the AGRI Hackathon, which revolves about building an autonomous robot that utilizes AI in detecting and digging out weed plants from crops. So the agenda goes as follows. We'll first start by introducing the team, moving on to explaining the problem and the proposed approach. After that, we'll elaborate more on the functionality of the autonomous robot and how it operates. Last but not least, we'll explain the technical aspect for us to finally explain the areas for development. So introducing the team, me, Tawfiq Kashmar, a senior mechatronics engineering student with emphasis in robotics and artificial intelligence. My teammate, Mark, also his friend of mine, is a financial engineer with emphasis in machine learning and data science. So what's the problem? The agricultural production in Lebanon has been for long lower than actual capacity. And one reason for that is the impact of weeds among cultivated areas, which led to reduction in crop yields and quality. Hence, it's unwanted plants in the cultivated field as they cause heavy losses in the yields and so on. Therefore, it's our duty to solve this issue through whatever technologies we can develop to aid in the detection of weed to prevent the numerous issues as mentioned above. And what we aim to build is a fully autonomous robot that utilizes AI in detecting and digging out weed plants from crops. MagTech, our product, will be a new approach and will possess an advantage to the agriculture sector in Lebanon and to the whole world. MagTech will appeal to the customers not only because it's very beneficial, but also because it's conscious of the different needs in the market, as it will have a huge green impact on the agriculture sector through retaining the quality of the soil and plants. Also, it's worth mentioning that competitors focus primarily on single tactics such as selective chemical spraying, laser, mechanical flaming, electrical discharging, and so on. But our approach is much unique and much better. So how it works? Let me briefly explain the above three images. The top image is a 3-degree robotic arm that will be attached to the bottom side of the autonomous robot seen on the previous slide. It's a 3-degree robotic arm because, as you can see, it's made of one rotary motor, the red one, and two prismatic motors, the green ones. By rotary, I mean it can rotate, and by prismatic, I mean the motion along it will be linear. So this autonomous robot will be able to classify wheat from crop using an AI algorithm. When the wheat is detected, the attached robotic arm will rotate and move. And once the robotic arm adjusts and stabilizes its position above the wheat, the plant spade will dig into the ground and will then perform some vibration mechanism to remove the weed with its roots from the soil without affecting the crop. Moving on to the flow chart, the process will go as follows: designing, simulating, manufacturing, and finally communicating the whole parts through the microcontroller that will be used. And answering whether this product is feasible and will generate revenues. On the financial side, our product target is to landscape farming areas, which do demand advanced technology and equipment in order to reduce their cost and produce more. Having this in mind, prove the ability of generating revenues through our project. And in terms of feasibility, our product is feasible, and the main costs are for the hardware and the physical structure, and are estimated to cost $1,500. And in reference to the current financial distress Lebanon is undergoing and the leverage toward the agriculture sector, we can definitely assure that our project solution will not only have a market, but a very demanding one. And what we aim to do is to rent per day for 100,000 Lebanese lira. Moving to the technical side, the total data set we used consists of 1,160 samples of both crop and weed images, and they were collected and classified by us. Each class of 580 images to avoid biasing. Also, different data augmentations were applied to our image dataset. Our prototype resulted in a very high accuracy of value 98%. And here to the left is a confusion matrix, and we can see that only 2 images of each class were misclassified. And this shows how accurate the prototype is. On the right side, we can see that the training and the testing loss as function of epochs is decreasing. And this means that our algorithm is modeling and working well. As for future improvements, the model architecture still has room for improvement, such as adding additional layers to be matched with a larger data set in order to achieve higher accuracy level and increase the model's learning capacity. This will allow the model to learn more complex approaches to discriminate between crops and weeds. Moreover, it's better to perform image segmentation before classification to better locate weed and mask other crops. Finally, a larger data set is a must, as this will enable us to introduce new classes of both weeds and crops for us to better generalize our model. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tawfiq and team. Christophe, I think you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Tawfiq. That's a cool idea. I wanted to ask you a bit about the AI algorithm. So you mentioned that you currently apply classification to detect the weed plant from the crop plant. So can you explain a bit how this works?
Okay, so we use CNN and we built a sequential model. We performed some convolution 2D and then max pooling and dense model and applied some dense functions. And yes, so it's a classification between weed and crop images. The crop we used here is the mint crop, as we didn't find any available crop images for other crops. So yes, it's the normal CNN.
So you take a picture of the whole area of view, let's say field of view of the camera, and you classify all of this if it contains weed or not. Like my point is, how do you locate the weed plant inside of the whole image if you're just doing a classification?
Okay, so for now, the data set we found is just a single image of either crop or weed. So that's what I meant by future recommendation, to use image segmentation in case the image contains both crop and weed image together. So what we can do is to mask out the crop image and keep only the weed image in the data in the image in the future.
Yeah, okay. And another question, once you locate the weed plant, your mechanical arm kind of plucks it out, right? So this is how you eliminate it, versus you said there are other approaches like laser or electric shocks, but your approach is just removing it. So what happens if, let's say, the weed plant is covering the crop plant, or vice versa?
What we aim to do is this plant spade that you've seen in the previous slides will tackle only the lower, the roots of the weed. So it won't tackle only the upper side. The plant spade will dig into the ground and will perform some vibration mechanism in order to remove the weed with its roots, so without affecting the crop.
Okay, so it's not a top-bottom approach, like you go from kind of you look for the roots of the weed and then you pluck it out from the roots?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ahmad, do you have questions for the team?
Yeah, just to clarify on the data set, please, you said you only had one kind of crop that you used?
That's what I meant. In the future recommendation, we need to have more data set available for more crop images in order to better generalize our model and to increase its effectiveness.
Okay, my second question is that this is a very competitive area. There's many companies, startups, including one in Lebanon, in Beirut, working on this exact issue and using a robotic. So I think the value proposition has to be a bit worked on beyond saying that this is a mechanical versus laser versus pesticide spraying, because the mechanical approach has its own disadvantages, right? It will be much slower. It might not always dig the roots. It will have more tear and wear. So it has its own limitation cost-wise. So I think that part of the story needs to be a bit more improved, because robotic solutions in these types of environments tend to be difficult, not easy to execute.
Yes, indeed. But also the other approaches still have limitations. For example, if we take the flaming one, we all agree that it can't operate in rainy weather. Also, the flaming one, if by mistake we flamed another crop, this crop may also flame another crop. And if you imagine it on a larger scale, you may end up flaming with no crop left. So also there's another disadvantage with other approaches is the problem with the weight. So you'll have an extra weight to handle. For example, in the flaming one, you'll have an extra weight for the external gas tank, and in the laser one, you will have also the disadvantage of having large batteries. And usually when we have large batteries, the motors we need to move the wheels with should handle high torques, and such motors are expensive also. So it's kind of a trade-off between different aspects.
Okay, thank you, Tufir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
maybe we can take one more question, Mario, if you have one.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, team. We can move now to team 19. Ardi, are you ready? So Namat or Pia.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello everyone. Yalla, let me share my screen.
Okay, I think Namat disconnected.
Hello, I'm back. ما بعرف شو صار.
Okay, we can hear you now. No, we can hear you now.
Did you hear anything I said أو لا?
No, honestly.
Okay. طب I'm gonna repeat. يلا لحظة.
Okay.
Okay. So, meet Noor. Noor inherited her father's farm, a large expansive field in the Bekaa Valley. Although she had seen him work and learned a lot from him, the last 5 years on the farm were a struggle for the family. The weather was unpredictable, and the yield was not enough to sustain the effort and time her father was putting in. Will Noor abandon the fertile land that has previously fed generations, like so many other farmers in Lebanon? Well, she doesn't have to. Meet Ardi. The agricultural sector in Lebanon has been suffering from water scarcity. Being a basic need, this is causing problems on societal and economic levels. Farmers have been investing more and more money to get access to water and irrigate their crops. Another problem is the issue of inconsistent crop yield due to non-efficient irrigation. As we know, irrigating a crop too much or too little can lead to waste. A majority of farmers today irrigate their crops using their experience and instinct, which is getting less and less accurate with the drastic changes in the climate. This, of course, leads to losses that affect the environment and the farmers' revenues, which affects the Lebanese economy. The third problem at hand is the inability to determine an accurate irrigation pattern due to scattered and unpredictable data. All these problems stated lead to an indirect issue which lead to farmers exiting the market. To solve this, we introduce to you Ardi, a user-friendly mobile application for farmers and amateur plant growers that provides users with a weekly irrigation schedule. Ardi will attack many fronts. Users will observe a reduction in water waste and unnecessary costs, a more efficient farming strategy, and a detailed AI-generated irrigation schedule based on weather, climate, and agricultural data that will be constructed using a time series AI machine learning model. Here, we can see some sample prototypes of Ardi. On the right is the irrigation schedule listed by day and time. As you can see, on Friday, October 14th, we should irrigate our potatoes. Okay, so, excuse me. How does this prototype work? The app detects the user location, and the user specifies the soil type and crop type. The input is then fed into an LSTM neural network, which will be trained on historical weather and irrigation scheduling data with great yields. Through this, the app will predict the optimal watering schedule for the user over the next week. While surveying the Lebanese market, we reached a serviceable, obtainable market of around 230,000 users per year. The way we reached this number can be elaborated in the Q&A. To analyze and validate the accuracy of our data, we need to assess key metrics, primarily crop yield efficiency and the normalized amount of water per unit of time per farmer, which will be computed under the same conditions. The business model follows a freemium structure, which will provide users with premium features as seen in this table. Our users can pick between Ardi Baladi, which gives them access to planting 3 crop types and in one location, Ardi Plus, and Ardi Premium, each for different prices. Our B2C model connects Ardi to consumers by providing them with personalized weekly irrigation schedules. To integrate Ardi into the market, we will be selling readily available weekly irrigation schedules to small, medium, and large-scale farmers that have smartphones. To amateur plant growers that need guidelines to follow, we will capture newcomers to the field of agriculture and penetrate a larger market not targeted by high-tech infrastructures which use sensors in order to know how much to irrigate. By constructing a marketing campaign that will be broadcasted to our target audience on various social media platforms, which can be advertised as their gateway to the Zrao movement for people that are entering the market, given the recent shift towards home plantation. As future improvements... Yes?
I'm sorry, but your time is up. If you can wrap up in a few seconds.
It's basically done. Done. As future improvements, we plan to sell the data of crops planted per area using sophisticated visualization techniques. We also plan to enhance the capabilities of our model using satellite data, which will lead to higher accuracy. And last but not least, Ardi will be the social media app for the agricultural community, connecting them with similar crop types planted and using location proximity, giving each other insights and making potential friends along the way. After researching our competitors, we discovered that their products either require an installation cost or use a more complex and less accurate method such as satellite imagery, whereas Ardi depends solely on different sets of data. And lastly, I will leave you with an introduction of our team: Slaibi Mallah, Pia Shwaifete, Ilyas Rahmoush, and myself, Namat Touma. We all come from diverse but yet technical backgrounds, and this is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Namat. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
So the judges can now ask questions. Mario, maybe you can go ahead and start.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to get a bit more clarity on your monetization strategy, please, if that's possible. How you plan on making money and your unique advantage in terms of, obviously you've demonstrated a few companies that are local, regional, or international, but can you kind of highlight to me what makes you different? What makes you exciting for us to take a look at you?
What makes us different is that we're accessible for anyone that wants to plant anything anywhere. يعني أنا إذا بدي أزرع بكرة على سطح بيتي, I can use the app. And a man who lives in Ba'a, who doesn't know how to predict the weather, لأنه the weather is changing like crazy, can use the app. That's where we come in. It's very easy to use, very straightforward, and it's cheap. Some people are using very high-tech technology, people that have massive plants. But we know that in Lebanon, agriculture is very, very widespread, and not everyone has access to such high-tech technologies since they're expensive.
Okay, my final question for you is that given the fact that you are building a product that applies to anyone, anywhere, what are the strategies that you're applying to make sure that you don't end up spreading yourself too thin, in the sense that the data you have would not be considered the minimum success criteria by your client. And obviously you need to enhance your solution على كل requirement وكل أرض بدها شيء مختلف. So how are you mitigating that risk given the fact that you have a minimal amount of funding early on and a minimal amount of data?
So like in any AI application, data is often the bottleneck. And this is no exception. There would need to have, we would need to have a very large data collection campaign, first of all. But we might also be able to use data from perhaps other countries with similar climate that, that have already set irrigation patterns and irrigation schedules and that have yielded good yields. So then we would maybe launch in select locations at first. And as we collect more information from our users, because we will also be collecting yield, then we could expand to more areas of Lebanon. But definitely data is a bottleneck, and this is our primary concern since this is where we need the most funding and resources.
That's it for my end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Christoph, you have a question?
Yes. So basically, I'm not an expert in agriculture, but according to what you said, you take in the soil type, the crop type, and then the location, and you can predict, of course, with the weather, you can predict the irrigation pattern. So is this information enough, or don't you think you need to maybe cater more to specific cases of each crop and the health of the crop?
So definitely, this our solution is will not be as accurate, definitely, as IoT sensors that can measure more specific things in each field. But while having historical data, and the data that we will be using will be irrigation patterns that have been based on IoT sensors. So the data we have, for example, we collected a data set that's 4-year historical weather from Portland, Oregon. We chose it because it's one of the biggest producers of potatoes in the United States. And we also have irrigation schedules that were based on IoT sensors. So our goal is to predict the irrigation schedule based only on the weather data that can be available from any API, from any weather app. So it might not be able to detect specific diseases in the plants and so on and so forth, but for the purposes that we are advertising, which is a solid, reliable, well-informed irrigation schedule, it does hit the mark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Imad.
Quick question, can you please give us more details on what was done on the AI side for now?
Sure. So as I mentioned, we got 4-year historical weather data from Portland, Oregon. So this data took a long time to assemble and clean up because the agricultural data and the guidelines on the irrigation was scattered, and this took some time. So we carefully assembled the data and we did clean it in order to mold it to serve our application purposes. But we did not have time to actually build the model. What we plan to use, however, is an LSTM neural network, which is known to work well for forecasting and with time series data. So similar applications have been successfully tackled using this kind of model. So for this stage, we focused on developing an all-around idea and the foundations given the time constraints we faced.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great. So thank you for the judges and for the team. Up next, we have Team 21.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So until the team is set, maybe the judges, we can give you a few minutes for putting the grades, or if you're good, we can continue.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm ready.
Okay, so you can share your screen.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes. Okay. So you can start.
Okay. We are SmartPick team here to tackle one of the main problems in the agricultural sector of Lebanon. Nearly 30% of the food in Lebanon is wasted, and 65% of it include fruits and vegetables. In fact, bad sorting of agricultural products is an important issue, yet sometimes neglected. Pack houses such as Liban Village and farmers are missing on so much profit by mixing up both their bad and good production. Why instead not sell the bad for jam and juice industries and the good for premium prices locally and abroad? Even if manual sorting is being done, accuracy and human subjectivity are costing more time and quality, as the owner indeed said of Liban Village indeed said. That's why we as a team decided to create an AI model using computer vision that can sort fruits and vegetables based on the size and quality of the crops, of the production, promising speed, consistency, and retrainability. Now, more on the solutions, our solutions impact. What we aim to achieve is to reduce wasting of the two categories of food by selling them to the right market, meeting the expectations of the buyers and especially exporters, make fast and efficient sorting, and help the Lebanese compete in the international markets. We are aiming our product at suppliers, at distributors and suppliers who want to expand to international markets, the young generation of farmers and our suppliers that are willing to add technology in their field, and pack houses that already do sorting manually. Our target products would be apples, citrus, peach, and grapes. You may ask, why buy our product? In fact, the reason is simple. The only currently available alternatives are fully automated machines, which to our targeted market will be expensive and hard to integrate. They would replace manual laborers, and operation and maintenance costs would outweigh their benefits. In contrast, what we offer is already cheap, a versatile tool that will ease the work of actual laborers. What we plan on doing to enhance our product, we first started by training our model on an Apple data set. The algorithm was then, with time and data, expanded to detect more features. So additional important Lebanese products will be included in the range for our tool to be applied on. And with the help of NGOs and the Lebanese Agriculture Syndicate, we plan on raising awareness and increasing education for pack houses and farmers to help us, and also talk to engineers and specialists to help us provide conveyors, cameras, and screens to apply our tool on. The tool will then be used in more complex systems to all types of suppliers and pack houses. This is our team. We are coming from different backgrounds, and we thank you for listening.
Okay, so thank you, Maria. Maybe we can start with Christophe. Do you have questions?
Yes, actually, I didn't really understand what is your product. Is it an application or it's a software, or what is it exactly?
No, our product is in fact software. The AI model is what we actually worked on, and we plan on applying it according to our customers' needs. Meaning, if someone has a bigger budget than another one, we will customize and apply apply our software in the form that they need and they can afford.
Nadim, can I add a few things?
Yes, sure.
To clarify a bit the process, usually we would take the customer that would buy our product, see what his or their actual setup is, and have an additional camera and screen to identify the fruits when they are sorted. For example, if they have a conveyor conveying the fruits, and then the laborers would look at them and sort them, we'd have like a little basket that would have a few apples or fruits, for example. The camera would take a picture of them, and the algorithm will identify the different fruits based on the categories, and then the laborer just has to look at the screen and pick out and sort.
So basically, your product is your AI model, and then based on the customer, you customize how they the product, how you sell it.
Yes, we can recommend. Yes, we recommend how to set up their system and help them with training the model.
Okay, and do you have any progress on the model? Did you build something?
Yes, I let Hadi explain a bit.
Yes, we built a model based on apples to classify between good and bad apples. We found a data set on the internet, and we fix it and clean it out. And we built a convolutional neural network with 3 layers of CoffTD and 1 flatten and 2 dense, with a final 80% accuracy. And we try to predict several apples, and we got a good results, and it was classified between good and bad apples.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Imad, do you have questions for the team?
Yeah, guys, this is a tough case that you're making, that you will only use AI to do the sorting, and then you'll still have a human laborer doing the mechanical part. I don't think this solution would be feasible this way, because if the human is there, they might as well do the visual sorting anyway, and it would be very slow. And most of the companies that do this in agriculture, they have a very large amount that they want to sort very quickly, and you have to do it mechanically. So it defeats the purpose of having an AI doing this autonomously if you're not doing the sorting along with it, or you have to make a much stronger case for it, because I don't see it. And all the systems of sorting that I'm aware of are mechanical. And the reason they're mechanical is because they could sort very, very quickly. So I'd like you to comment on this.
Yes, the idea is that the customer would not be looking to increase the speed of sorting. It's about the accuracy. For example, if someone is already using manual picking, they might as well, instead of relying on the subjective decisions of the laborers, they'd have the system do it for them. And it's not really slow. I mean, if you have the apples placed in a basket and the AI has them already sorted in a screen, they just have to pick them out. It's not about looking for them between like a huge stack.
Nadeem, have you seen any videos? Check the videos of sorting of apples, cucumbers, whatever on YouTube, and amazed at the speed at which this is done. Plus, that the argument that the human cannot sort good, bad apples as good as AI is also debatable, because I heard, what was the accuracy you got in your model now, on your trained model?
The data set we had is very limited, and you know what we can find on online pictures. In real life,
but in real life, you will have the same problem with any crop, any market you approach. This is going to be your problem, the data set, and you being able to train up to the level of a human person that has done this for years. So I'm just recommending that you guys, this side of the business concept, to work on it a bit more, to be more convincing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ahmad. Mario, do you have a question for the team?
I would like to know a bit more about, have they actually interviewed sorting facilities on that project specifically?
Due to time constraints, we haven't done that really.
Okay, so the problem in Lebanon in sorting is, if you'd interview some of those users, is mainly that sometimes they do have machines provided to them by NGOs or other governmental agencies. The problem is usually the data set, because these machines that are brought into Lebanon are designed to run on data sets that are either European or American, and therefore when you start inputting apples, Lebanese apples that are distinctive, that are different in color and in shape, people usually start having problems here and using these machines. On another note, concerning the presentation, I have to disagree that these machines or using mechanical sorting would reduce labor, because on the belt, if you went to a place that does that process and you checked how the process happens, the difference is that the machine would sort the items and would reduce the margin of error to near nil. And you would have that user, instead of sorting these apples, this person would be collecting them from the side, depending on which bag or which area these apples were allocated to. So my point here to make is that it would be great for you guys to revisit this project, in the sense that we've worked on projects as such. We've interviewed a lot of people within that sector. It would be great for you to get an understanding from one facility at least about the problems they are facing, because I am definite that the approach used here is not particularly aligned with the problem they have and the solution they are looking for. So my suggestion for you is just visit one facility at least and learn a bit more about the problem.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for your advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, team, for your presentation. So we now have Team 26, AGRI Vision. Okay, Yara, we can see your screen. I think you're muted.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, all good.
Okay. So
you can start.
Okay. So I will be presenting AgriVision, which is a solution for a greener world. I'm Yara Shaban, a computer and communication engineer. My teammate is Jamal Jafar, who is a marketing specialist. So statistics show that we will face the challenge to feed a world of 10 billion people by 2050. This increase in population translates to 60% increase in needed food supplies. The bigger problem here is that water and soil resources are already stressed and will be further strained by climate change. For all these problems, we thought of a solution that generates a greener planet by encouraging urban farming. So, imagine our cities becoming this green and alive. So this isn't a dream, we think, with AgriVision, which can provide more food in fewer land, less water consumption, less need for chemicals, and the most important thing, it can provide organic, healthy food for everyone. So what is AgriVision? It is a smart, eco-friendly vertical garden controlled by an AI-empowered mobile application. So as you can see, this is our product, a customizable sized vertical garden. It has nodes that are connected to pump and sensors. It is powered by solar system to be totally green and eco-friendly. It uses an AI-empowered mobile application. It can give plant suggestion given the environmental condition. It can also detect diseases using image recognition and give users useful insights. So this is a schema of our product. We have the Raspberry Pi, which is the brain of the product, which is connected to a mobile application via Wi-Fi. We take inputs from sensors and the camera for image recognition, and the whole system is powered by solar energy. The outputs are insights, useful insight for the users, and the water pump that will be turned on and off for a smart irrigation. So here I'm going to showcase the mobile app. So the user can log in to go to this home screen, and select a node where he can see the sensor outputs, and he can see the optimal watering frequency, which is calculated through the application. Here he can also check for diseases. Here I want to highlight that we have built an AI model that was trained on data relative to the tomato in specific that can check on the tomato leaves, and by image recognition can know or predict if the plant has any disease, and this disease can be shown here and by pressing on this button. The application also can provide for the user some dashboards which the user can go to. These dashboards can predict or suggest to the user which plants can better grow given the environmental factors, and what is the best time to predict the best time to harvest. So, what is our target audience? Here we are targeting the middle and upper class in the Lebanese society, which is 55% of the population, given the UN statistics. We also ran a survey for these people to see whether they are interested or not in buying such a product, and 86% voted that yes, they are interested. And it's obvious since we already noticed that the people were planting, especially during the lockdown, the latest lockdown. So how we will be reaching these people? We will be reaching them using social media platforms. We will collaborate with dietitian clinics, since the users are people who are health aware, interested in eating organic food. We will also collaborate with food suppliers and technology and home application suppliers. So where we are now, we have already developed an urban solution, which is presented in this presentation. We will work in the future to upgrade this product to be a rural solution for the people living in villages. We will also upgrade this product to be a solution used by farm owners that can use this product, since it is very water efficient and it can ensure a higher agricultural production. So here is our business model. So as we have said, to recap, AgroVision presents an eco-friendly solution that enables users to have their own smart vertical farm at home. It ensures higher agricultural production and provides more organic food. Users are people, especially the ones living in cities, interested in urban gardening and health-aware people. Concerning the revenues, we will be collecting revenues by installing and maintaining our product. The cost, we estimated our hardware cost to be $200. We can't yet estimate an exact software cost. We have some potential competitors, but not in the Lebanese industry, and the products are also under development. We don't have a similar product that is already existing in the market. And yes, thank you. I'm done. Yes,
okay, great.
I'm wrapping up. So that was our product, and thank you for listening.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we can take questions from the judges. Mario, do you like to start?
I'll leave the floor open first for the technical questions, if that's fine.
Okay, sure. So Christoph, maybe you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to clarify one thing. Are you guys selling the whole, when you say your product, is it like the whole vertical farm with
the whole vertical farm, yes, with everything and the mobile application.
Okay, and did you guys build the prototype? Because you mentioned something, you have an urban solution. So what did you build so far? Can you be more specific?
So far I have built the hardware, which was already implemented on a project that won in the LIRA competition, and it is already linked to a mobile app. This was already done. Now I'm just working on new features in this project by introducing artificial intelligence. So AI will be introduced using the model that I have built to detect diseases using image recognition. And for the future, I will be working on plant recommendation using the knowing the environmental factors.
So currently your prototype does not include AI, but it includes collecting data from sensors, and all of this is transmitted to the mobile app.
Yes, but I have built a model and trained it on data, as I have mentioned in the presentation, which is relative to the tomato plant in specific.
And how were the results from this experiment?
They were good. I got 92% accuracy.
Okay, and last question. You mentioned something about the rural solution. What's the difference between urban and rural solution?
I meant that I will upgrade the farm. When we are talking about people living in villages, they have more space. So maybe they don't need a vertical garden. Maybe we can develop something else for them, which is fits them better.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you, Christophe. Dr. Imad, do you have technical questions as well?
My question is that you will have a sensor in every part that you have in the vertical garden, and then all of those can be controlled, the irrigation of these spots separately?
Yes.
So you will have a very relatively complicated network for the sensors and for the irrigation.
Yes, true. For this, we can do something as I have said, the product is customizable. So if the user will, let's say, plant the same type of plants, then we will use less sensors and less motors. But we can develop the product for users to plant other types of different type of plants. So this depends on the user's needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. So Mario, if you have questions.
Yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about the roadmap towards getting this functional. So how do you plan on, what's your go-to-market with that product? How do you plan on launching it? How do you plan on providing the user with value that he or she looks for when they kind of come in and say, hi, I'd like to use your product?
Our go-to-market strategy will be mainly using social media platform. We believe that our product will add value for this user and will be very beneficial for them. So this is how we will be selling our product, and this is how we will be convincing users to buy it. We think that it is really helpful, and especially people living in cities. They need to plant, and they already have been doing so in the latest stages. So we think that if we will market our product using the social media platforms, if we can, as we have said, collaborate with some organic food suppliers to reach out to these people, maybe collaborate with organizations to reach out to these people, we believe that we will get a great feedback from these because the product is really beneficial.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you, Yara and the team, and thank you for the judges. We can now move to team 28, Agrobit. Okay.
Okay, so hello everyone. We are team 28 Agrobit, and I want to start my my presentation with introducing to you Mr. Fadi. Mr. Fadi is an old farmer who spent decades on planting crops in order to feed his family. One season, Mr. Fadi has noticed that he has his crop yield is decreasing, and some of his plants' growth are halting. He assumed that it was due to a climate impact and hoped for a better yield for the next season. But unfortunately, the surprise has struck, and Mr. Fadi was surprised with a severe crop loss the following season. So he went to us to get an expert consultant, and that expert requested for a soil test to be run in a specialized laboratory. Once the results came out, Mr. Fadi's land apparently has been suffering from nutrient deficiency and requires to enrich it by fertilizing the land before his next farm. So what we have now concluded that Mr. Fadi has lost a full season harvest. He has to pay large amount of money for the laboratory analysis, and he has to pay large amount of fertilizers for his next farming. These are also common problems that the Lebanese farmers are facing. So we want to try to find a solution to increase the productivity without the need of scientific knowledges for our farmers, and we want to reduce the laboratory costs. So introducing AgroBit. AgroBit is a platform targeting farmers in enhancing their farming strategy and leading them to decide the best profiting crop to cultivate their land, along with choosing the suitable fertilizers. So introducing the team, we have Hassan Qataya, an entrepreneur and software engineer, Hadi Skaf, our machine learning engineer, Ali Naeem, the full stack developer, and myself, Sami Shamsdeen, computational scientist focusing on the agricultural field. So our solution basically provides an affordable soil testing kits that are farmer friendly and easy to use, a simple to use application for the users to get the recommendations based on their soil analysis, and if the farmers has the option to choose the best his target crop, and the application will suggest the required fertilizers. So moreover our products, we have a soil testing kit and a monitoring system. The soil testing kit, as mentioned, it is easy to use. Even an 11-year-old child can use it for his school project. And there is also a simple tutorial on our platform. We are working on a feature that would allow the farmer to take picture of the tube once he get his analysis, and the application will analyze the results. All of this under this low cost. As for the monitoring system, it will be in the farmland, and they will keep track of the main soil nutrients, which are the NPK and the pH, and receive in-app alert. The farmers will receive in-app alerts for fertile and watering requirements. So our platform also basically have 3 service plans, which are the planter, agriculturist, and the crop master. The planter will have a weekly access to the crop and the fertilizer predictor, and it's also worth noting that it's a free subscription. The agriculturist will have an unlimited access to the accurate crop model and the fertilizing model, with the bonus of personal support and consultation from our professional team. The crop master plan is actually gained once he buy our monitoring system, which is a 24/7 hour monitoring system, and it, as mentioned, tracks the crop's health in real time online. Okay, deeper into the technicalities, we have tested multiple classifiers in order to find which is the best predictor for the best profiting crops and the best fertilizers, and we have chosen the highest accuracy, which was the XGBoost classifier. So our clients are mainly the customers, the consumers, sorry, and the government. The consumers who are the farmers themselves, and the government, we can cooperate with them, with the Ministry of Agriculture, in order to help developing the agriculture sector in our country or in different countries when expanding. So if you want to have a more green landscape and a more beautiful garden, we suggest trying out AgroBit. Thank you.
Thank you, Sami and team. We can start with technical questions as well. So maybe, Christoph, if you have questions.
Yes. So you mentioned in your slides crop model predictor. Can you talk a bit more about, is this the XGBoost model?
Okay. So as for our models, we got our data set from India actually, and had multiple features. And based on these features, we actually trained our model And we had about 20 to 25 labels, like different types of crops. And we have tested them on multiple types of classifiers. XGBoost actually had the best accuracy as shown. We have the as shown, and it was actually better performance.
Yeah, but my question is, what does it exactly do? What is the crop model predictor? What does it predict?
Okay, it actually predicts. Okay, so we have in our prototype, as you can see here, we would inject the NPK and the pH, and it will predict what is the best target crop in order to plant.
Okay, and these the input for these features are these input you got them from the testing kit. So if I buy the testing kit, I extract or test my soil, and then I will input these values into the app, and it's gonna give me which
exactly.
model to. Okay.
Yeah, so we can't actually, if it's an online platform, so we can't actually, or we can if we had a service provider, the farmers has to do the test by themselves, like add the soil, some bit of soil in a test tube and mix the solutions in order to get a result, which is a color. So from this color, we can they can look at the brochure to understand what value they are having for the different features.
Okay, I see. And the input for the model are these four inputs you mentioned, the pH level, etc. Or do you have anything else?
I have also mentioned that we have, as mentioned here, that we have a crop predictor and a more accurate one. The more accurate actually depends on more features like the rainfall, the humidity, the temperature that were also available in the data set.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Christoph. Dr. Imad, do you have questions?
Yes, please. Sami, questions, please. I think first a suggestion. I think you guys should focus because you're doing too many things here. The CropMast 24/7 monitoring system. I'm not sure there is a need to detect and measure the soil composition 24/7. And there's a huge cost whenever you say 24/7 monitoring in an agricultural context. You have, I think, to decide if this is a recommender system for planting like you've done, or is this bringing an easier testing to the farmers that don't have access to the professional labs? I suggest also there that you focus on one or the other, because I thought the innovation might be on the, taking a picture of the tube and giving the results to the farmer, where otherwise it would have been costly and you need an expert to do that. Maybe then you could tie the recommender in the back end of it, kind of for free. It does that automatically, because I think the AI from the composition to the recommendation, I'm not sure there's AI needed there. I'm sure that you can have expert knowledge built there, that if your numbers are such and such, then these are the 10 crops that you could plant. So, did you do anything? Therefore, my question is, did you do anything on the test kit side, the AI for the test kit measurement?
Okay, so we didn't actually have the test kit in our hands due to the lockdown, but based on our researches online, that we have seen that how these test kits are displaying the values and actually extracting the values analysis. Of course, they will not be extremely accurate as the laboratory research analysis, but because they are estimated, we wanna try and give with the cheapest amount, if I can say, with no cost reliability for the planters and for the farmers actually to get the recommendation system. Hopefully, I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Imad. Mario, you can ask the team.
Nothing from my end.
Okay, great. So thank you, Team 28. I think we're going to give the judges a few minutes to finalize their grades. Up next is Team 30, Green Vision. Are you guys ready for presenting?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I start sharing my screen and wait for your signal to go?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
Okay, Joey, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, can you see my screen and hear me all right?
Yes, all good.
Okay, so around 53% of our vines in Lebanon suffer from a single disease every season, known as GVA. And there are over 60 diseases that can possibly affect grapevines. Diseases among crops are very common and are one of the top 4 factors that can affect crop yield. In order to stop them, farmers usually use pesticides heavily, which can be both costly and harmful. Our team, Green Vision, composed of Mira, Muhammad, Rukas, and myself, Joey, has come together to help tackle these issues. We are currently developing a software which relies on AI and computer vision specifically to help farmers detect any diseases their crops may be facing and how to better take care of them. We have focused our work on 2 of the more abundant crops in Lebanon that are susceptible to various diseases, tomatoes and grapes, while still distinguishing between red and white grapes. Our team uses computer vision so that the farmer which has our software already installed can simply take a picture of his crop and after just a few seconds receive an answer on the plant's status and how to deal with any possible issues. So far, our model can accurately identify between tomatoes, red grapes, and white grapes, whether they are healthy or in need of treatment, and how to take care of them better. Our target customers are local farmers all over Lebanon, and specifically the 46 wineries currently present in Lebanon and their associated vineyards, since at this stage our product focuses mainly on tomatoes and grapes. Similar projects are being undertaken in different parts of the world, such as Plantix and Crop.AI, which are respectively based in India and North America. However, none of these companies target the specific and diverse plants and ecosystem found in Lebanon, and they each rather focus on their own ecosystem. For example, Plantix, which is the biggest competitor in the market today, already covers 30 crops, which are all native to India and the surrounding region, such as rice and sugarcane. We plan to adopt a similar approach, but rather focus on the plants and crops found locally, which is why we started out with tomatoes and grapes. In addition, we plan to have an interface in Arabic, which is not currently available with any of the software already in the market. And since most of the local farmers in Lebanon are native Arabic speakers, this will be a great benefit for them. In view of the economic situation in Lebanon and the dollar crisis, we plan to make a free version of our software, which gives access to the most important features and try to limit any additional subscription-based extra content at first. Since our software can perform several functions, from plant disease identification to plant well-being, in the future, some of these features may be implemented as part of a subscription-based pro model. We also plan to incorporate advertisements in the free version relating to the field. Now, regarding scalability, first, we plan on increasing our dataset to cover crops other than tomatoes and grapes, and cover all the major crops being produced in Lebanon, such as cherries and bananas. Moreover, the similarity in ecosystem of nearby regions and our common Arabic tongue may also help facilitate a possible expansion to the Middle East and maybe even the MENA region later on. And finally, we are looking into robotics companies, and I've already started discussing with several of them to further develop this software and make it more accessible and more widespread, and be sort of a software as a service whereby people can employ our software, our design and data set to use it in various fields. Now we will be quickly switching screens to show you a first demo of our software. After that, I leave the floor open to any questions you may have for me or my team. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So here's a demo of our code. We have 2 classification models. The first model is to identify the plant status, what the disease and how to deal with it. For example, here you can see these tests that we have run. The actual, for example, is red grapes. The predicted is red grapes. Same for tomatoes and white grapes too. Also, the model can give us a plan to deal with the plants. For example, how to water, sun exposure, vitamins, the pesticides to use, and what's the quantity. For the diseases part as well, For the disease part as well, you can see here the tests that we have run. For example, here are leaves for healthy tomato, and it's predicted healthy tomato, and also for unhealthy too. Also, we have some comments upon what to do with how to solve the issues upon unhealthy issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad. Okay, so we can take questions now. Dr. Imad, do you have questions for the team?
Just to clarify, guys, are you detecting healthy, unhealthy, or are you detecting what the disease is?
Both, actually. When you take a picture of the certain plant, the AI system is able to identify whether this crop is healthy or not. And if it's not healthy, it will tell you what type of disease it is.
So you have that prototyped already?
No. We have prototyped to say whether it's healthy or not, but we haven't prototyped if it's what the disease is. This is a further step.
Okay, what's the accuracy of the healthy, unhealthy?
More than 92%.
What's this data set size?
We have used data sets from the internet, but it's very challenging to get good data sets for a Lebanese sector, and this will be one of the most challenging steps that
Okay, and does the application from the competitor include grapes and tomatoes? The application you mentioned before?
No, so far, as I mentioned, most of the crops that they have, of the 30 crops they have, they focus on rice, sugar canes, and other stuff that are native to India, and not grapes, because they don't have a lot of grape vineyards in India.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ahmad. Christophe?
Yeah, I just have a very quick question. So your product is currently just the model, right? You don't have a mobile application, or how does the customer use your product?
Okay, currently we still have only the model, and we plan to develop further later on in two directions. We will both go as an app so that the local farmer can be able to use this app that we will develop later on, and we will also make our software, available so that other companies, maybe a robotics company, or like we're seeing a lot of projects with robots and drones nowadays, so they may be able to employ our software in their own startups or their own companies.
Yeah, I would say this makes more sense than individually taking pictures of each tomato or each grape and then figuring out if it's healthy or not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Christophe. Mario, do you have any questions?
I think the presentation was clear and the questions I had in mind were answered. Thank you.
Great. Okay. So thank you, Joey, Muhammad, and the team. We can now move to Team 32, AgriFix 2021. Are you guys ready for presenting?
Yes, ready.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, all good. You can start.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Layan, and I'm a second-year CCE student at AUB. I'm joined by my teammates, Hassan, who's a second-year CSE student, and Samer, who's a second-year ECE student, to present to you our solution for one of the biggest problems in the agriculture sector in Lebanon. We sell apples to buy bread. So this is the sad reality for many farmers in Lebanon, and one of them is the man who gave the statement to Al Arabiya, as he was dumping his apples on the ground. So sadly, there's a lot of surplus in farming that's not being sold to markets, and it's a big issue. So what is our problem? First of all, this produces a lot of waste, clearly. And there's already a lot of poverty, and this does nothing but increase that poverty. And this is an inefficient way of farming. So at the level of the world, there's around 1/3 of the world's produced food for humans that is wasted yearly. That's around 1.3 billion tons of food, or alternatively, $1 trillion worth of food, according to the FAO. Now, at the level of Lebanon, there's around 30% of all edible food that is wasted yearly, and around 65% of that is fruits and vegetables, according to Food Blessed. So you might ask, why don't we just export this surplus? This has many issues, some of them being closure of the land route. So this caused agriculture export to Middle Eastern markets to drop significantly by at least 35%. And the alternative to that is exporting by sea, which has a much higher cost. Other factors include the Syrian war, which caused banana exports to drop by 60 to 65,000 tons, and the Egyptian economic crisis as well. So our solution is a model. It's a one-step multivariate time series model. So it predicts the amount of crop sold as the output. It is multivariate. It studies several input factors. It studies trends over time and learns a pattern. And finally, it predicts an outcome. So how does our model do this? First of all, we gather data from farmers. We monitor the input factors, which I will talk about in the next slide. We predict the output, and accordingly, the farmers can adjust the amount that they are farming to fit the demand without having surplus. So our prototype includes 4 input factors, which are season of growth, space needed to grow the crops, the cost of capital and labor, and the time needed until the crops are market ready. And from that, we deduce the amount that will be sold. So we load, inspect, and clean our data set. We store our values. We don't have a data set yet because we don't have one for Lebanon, but we aim to test it on a data set of 40 seasons, which is 10 years, approximately 4 seasons. And we construct a dense neural network with 4 inputs and 1 output, and we split our data for training and testing. And finally, we can evaluate our model. So for our business model, we don't have a business expert in our team, but we plan on making it based on subscription plans. It can be something like a certain amount for a 1-year subscription and a deal for a 5-year subscription, or something of the sort, to encourage farmers to actually use our product. So why our idea? For 3 reasons. First of all, for cost. The cost is minimal. There's minimal capital needed. There is no need for any sensors, cameras, or anything like that. It's user-friendly. It can be implemented through an app or a website, which is also easy for farmers to use. And finally, it's a simple solution. So the problem is big, and it's a big issue in Lebanon. And implementing it through a simple solution, we found was the best way for everyone. So finally, this is for a better Lebanon. It will produce less waste, more profit for farmers, and maximize efficiency of farming. It's affordable, user-friendly, and suitable for Lebanon, as I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Layan, for your presentation and team. We can now take questions from the judges. Christophe, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Layan. So just to clarify, you said your model is a 1-step prediction model. Does that mean that you predict for 1 season? Or what is the size of the step?
It is 1 step because we only predict 1 factor, which is the amount of crops sold. There's only 1 prediction that's being made.
Okay, so it's a multi-step univariate model. So you predict one item, one factor, but for multiple. What is you predict for like a week, or what is the size of
for
prediction?
For a season.
For the whole season.
Yes.
So
Okay.
each vegetable or type of crop will have its own model, and using the factors that I mentioned, we can predict the output for that specific crop.
Yes, anyways,
Okay.
and because farmers farm by season, like, so it's based on seasons.
So basically the output of the model would be the number of potatoes or apples, let's say, that you would sell for the whole season.
Yes, and according to that, they can plan how much they need to farm beforehand.
Yes.
To plant, yeah.
Okay, okay, I see. And did you build this model, or because you mentioned the steps, but then you said that there was no data. So did you build it or not yet?
No, we didn't build the model because we don't have a data set for Lebanon yet. But it could be done simply by getting this data set with the factors needed for different areas in Lebanon at least. So the data set would be well-rounded, and we'd have one farming area for each area in Lebanon, and that way we'd have a good idea of the output needed for Lebanon as a whole on the bigger scale.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christophe. Dr. Imad, do you have questions for the team?
Yeah, sure. So, sorry, you mentioned the data set not for Lebanon. Is that correct? Just to
yes.
follow up. So what was the accuracy of that model there on that data set?
I didn't hear you well, I'm sorry.
The question is, what was the accuracy of the model on that data set?
We didn't find an appropriate data set for the exact factors we were looking for. That was my point.
So you didn't build a model for that data either?
No, we didn't build a model. We just have the idea and the prototype for the model.
My other question, Rian, to you and the team is, the other comment is that this is a very, very difficult problem you're addressing, and the factors that you are inputting in your model, I don't believe are sufficient to predict demand. Because the many examples that you gave, whether with Egypt or Syria or others, there are socio-political factors, there's many factors that come into this equation that make this a very challenging problem of demand, you know, a question of supply demand. So I suggest you guys revisit those features that you're using to build this model.
Yes, what I mentioned about Egypt and Syria and all those were just issues that come into play when you think about why use our model instead of just exporting surplus. So that was the target of those features. They're not something we're taking into account in our model. Our model.
But your model, I understand, but your model, I'm arguing that your model needs to take these factors into consideration because you're not isolated from the export market. And also there are national unpredictable factors that happen. So the demand for strawberry in Lebanon is definitely dropping because of the economic situation we have, or avocado, or whatever fancy, you know, items that we might think of. So what I'm saying is, whether you're exporting or not, this demand equation would take more than these factors, I think, in it, and it'd be very, very challenging to get this model accurate, to be honest. That's my assessment.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ahmad. Mario, do you have questions for the team?
I'm sorry, I got disconnected and then reconnected, so I missed a portion of the presentation, and therefore I'll skip judging and asking questions on this team.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. Okay, so we can now move to team 34, Tectonics.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Great. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to start.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to Tectonics. I'm going to first start off by telling you a story about a couple named Khalid and Sarah. They are a Lebanese couple, and after the widespread of the pandemic in Lebanon and having several of their family members affected, they wanted to have a healthier lifestyle for themselves and their family. And after finding out that the commercial crops do not have nearly as much nutrients as freshly grown ones, they wanted to grow their own food at home. Also, 90% of soil will be degraded by 2050 because the earth takes 1,000 years to produce 2 to 3 centimeters of usable soil. In Lebanon, the agriculture only amounts for 4% of the capital, even though 64.3% of land in Lebanon is used for agriculture. This is why my team and I came together to create Tectonics, the future of farming. So why hydroponics? It saves space, creating bigger yield. It uses 10 times less water than soil-based farming. It needs a lower amount of chemicals, resulting in healthier and organic plants. It has 30 to 50% faster growth, and it is highly scalable. Our product starts with an app. As you can see on our homepage, we have guidelines on creating your own hydroponics setup, access to the hydroponics community, and after a while, we want to create planting kits that you can purchase on the application and monitor your plant needs. So inside our application, you can shop the kits when we have them available at a later stage, look at your bag, personalize your profile, and track your orders. The AI part of our application is where the user can take pictures of their hydroponics plants, and we can tell them if they're healthy or not. So far, we trained our models only to scan roots. So after the person specifies which crops these roots are for, we give specialized recommendations and what they can do to help them be better. And if they have Tectonics kits, they have much more detailed diagnostics because we have sensors that will be coming in with our application. Our model was using a computer vision algorithm and convolutional neural networks. Our data set was comprised of random roots of random crops that were planted using hydroponic systems and classified as healthy or not healthy. Our accuracy was very high, resulting in almost 97%. For our business model, we are a startup company starting with B2C and then B2B. Our target market is houses and offices, and then we want to expand to farmers, which is a $3.12 billion industry in Lebanon. For our unique value proposition, we have community engagement, affordable entry to hydroponics, personalized experience, and integrating AI with agriculture. We have local competitors, however, they only target farms and are much more expensive. Most of them do not use AI for diagnostics, and if they do, it is not directed for domestic use. For our marketing strategy, we want to have a strong brand identity through providing a quality product. We want to utilize the marketing mix, which is a quality product at an affordable price, which is compact and having a strong social media presence. We want to showcase our customer journey through reviews. And for the AgriTech Accelerator plans, for the first 3 months, we want to develop the application. For the 9 months after that, we want to develop the kit. Till 18 months, we want to have a strong customer base. And then till 24 months, we want to expand to land management. For our kits, we will have different models depending on your budget that you can connect to your app for diagnostics and be able to monitor the development of your plants and get specific recommendations. So for our financial projections, it will cost us nothing to make the application, and then a maximum of $300 to $350 to make one kit. Our revenue would be through ads and subscriptions for our application. The subscription would be if you have more than 3 plants at once. And we will be selling kits and the data collected by the user taking pictures. Our team is Osama Matar, the systems engineer, Muhammad Daw, the electrical engineer, Hamza Mnaimni, the financial manager, and me, Jana Kbit, the developer. So now Sarah Al Khalid can not only have organic plants planted at home, but they have an access to a community using Tectonics for healthier and safer crops. So you can contact us throughout any of these means, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Jana and team, for your presentation. We can start with the judges' questions. Dr. Imad.
Thank you, team. Thank you, Jana. And my question, please, is AI specific. So the main innovation here that I see is in the root detection. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Because, right, so hydroponics and kits are not the new thing. The innovation and the AI is in that point. So can you elaborate on that, please? Yes. So can you elaborate on that? Because from some of the kits that you showed, they're not transparent. So is the idea that people would, I'm not familiar with this, so they pull it out and take a picture, or are your packages transparent? Number one. Number two, the data set that you worked with, is this only about saying healthy, unhealthy? Because at the beginning, you motivated it by saying more, like saying, you know, what the issue is and what should be done. Did you do any part on that, or only at this point, healthy, unhealthy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. So for the first part, I'm sorry, I actually forgot what was the first part of your question.
The transparency and how you will take the pictures of the roots.
Yes.
And
yes, so for hydroponic systems, they are actually like, they do not use soil. So the plants are only, the roots of the plants are only in water and a mixture of fertilizers. So for most hydroponic systems, if they're not using ours, they're using the tubes model or anyone else, they have like transparent cups that they put into each of the tubes, so they can take it out and take a picture. And if the system is not transparent, they can just pull it out for a couple of seconds, because it's not like solidified inside it. It's inside a liquid. Yeah.
okay,
liquid
clear. And on the healthy, unhealthy, or more than just that, any work on, you know, so this is just a binary saying healthy, unhealthy.
Yeah. So for our model so far, it is a binary classification that said if the roots are healthy or not. We thought about integrating which crop inside the AI model, but then we thought it was not necessary to integrate it to the AI model. We can integrate it throughout the application. So the application can have, from the picture, it's healthy or unhealthy. And then the application would look into the type of crop that is inputted. Let's say he took a picture and then he said that this is for tomatoes. So the application would look through its data that was provided from the back end, and it would tell it that if it's okay, unhealthy and tomatoes, that it might need calcium nitrate, it might need more fertilizers, and give recommendations based on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad. Christophe, do you have technical questions for the team?
No, I don't have any questions. They were all answered, but great presentation, Jana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Mario, do you have questions?
Yes, I just want to get clarity over one thing. When we started off the presentation, as I'm Sultan, you were describing vertical farming. Am I correct?
From why hydroponics? We were just describing a hydroponic system.
Okay,
a system that does not use soil. It can be done vertically. So it's one of the options of hydroponic systems.
My question is this more like a farmer's tool or an amateur's tool?
Well,
No,
actually,
the way I saw the design in the presentation, it kind of looks like you know, something that could be used aesthetically to give a nice feature to the house while learning a bit of farming on the side. So I want to check on that. And is that more of an industry scale product, or is it more like what we saw in the presentation?
Okay, so as we mentioned, we're going to start off by being just a domestic product that people can use to learn. They don't have to know anything. They can learn about hydroponics from the applications and use our community to learn more about it. And then when we create the kit, after we have a bigger community engagement and the Lebanese community finds out that hydroponics actually works and it saves space, it saves water, we're going to expand to farmers, because when we talked about it with a field expert, they said that it's better not to go into the farmers farming market directly, because it might be a little bit rejected. So after we familiarize the Lebanese people with our product, we might have a bigger scale product that is like our kit, but bigger for farming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jana and team. We now have team 36, AI Heroes.
Hello, this is Beatrice. I'm going to share my screen.
Hi.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. And you can see my screen.
Yes, all good. You can start.
Okay. It is what we know already that often prevents us from learning. Planting the same crops over and over again, randomly increasing irrigation, choosing pesticides and chemicals, thinking that they would help in increasing crop yield, and yet the results are the same. And sometimes even worse, where you have spent a fortune trying to revive a land that cannot sustain what you are growing on it. What if we told you that we have the solution for that? AGRISIM, an artificial intelligence-powered platform that would help landowners use their lands to their fullest potential. We present to you AGRISIM dedicated team, Beatrice as business advisor, Mazen as data analyst, Hadi and Sarah our product engineers. Landowners are not gaining the highest revenue from their lands. They might be overpaying for chemicals, over or under irrigating their crops, not using their lands to their full potential, whereas small calculated changes can unlock a much higher return on their investment. In a recent FAO study, it shows that for cereal agriculture, for example, Lebanon crop yield is 4 times lower than other countries. This is where AgriSim can step in to provide you with an end-to-end service, where our consultants can collect soil samples, test them, and provide recommendations to crop selection and land conditioning. New crop that meets international standards would open the door to new opportunity of export and generate a higher revenue. We at AgriSim will help you monitor weekly or monthly the condition of your land to make sure it is always optimized to the needs of your crop. Our platform is completely free of charge. It is powered by a powerful artificial intelligence algorithm that continues to learn from large gathered datasets. If you log into our website, under our services, you can input the ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium content in your soil sample, as well as the pH level, and our AI-powered recommendation system will calculate the appropriate plant. In this case, it suggested grapes. Currently, we are in the development phase, where we built a neural network and reached 98% accuracy. The next phase is to train it further with larger datasets and start introducing it to the market. Our product will be constantly improved and refined to meet the changing customer needs. Our marketing strategy will be focused on targeting farmers, mainly by using billboards in rural areas and local TV channels for advertisement. There is an opportunity for success here, an opportunity for every landowner to invest in their lands and stay in Lebanon, an opportunity for new crop, new export possibilities, providing new jobs and increasing revenue, and most of all, an opportunity to protect our environment and make an extra step towards a greener Lebanon by optimizing irrigation and chemical use. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Beatrice, for your presentation and for the team. We can take the judges' questions. Mario, would you like to start?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't really get the value proposition. Is it a platform that kind of tells you, Kamal, what you need to grow given certain indicators that you would input?
Okay, so we are aiming to provide a full service. So you can either ask for our services. So our consultant can go to your land, take soil samples and test them and recommend a certain crop, or even give you a recommendation on what you need to, for example, to like increase irrigation, or do you need certain type of vitamins for your existing crop. So it's suggesting new crops and even enhancing the conditions of the existing crop on your land. So this is the paid, if you want, option of our product. And the free option is if any farmer can take a soil sample from his land, go to a laboratory, test it, and input the results in our platform. And our platform will suggest the appropriate type of crop to grow in that land.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. And so let's assume that I get to use your product. I input and I get an outcome. Is your value proposition providing a better crop or higher returns on value? I just need to clarify that that item. Is your value prop telling the farmer that you will increase the, I would say, the health status of the fruit, or is it an increase in sales? Is it yield or sales?
It's yield, mainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mario. Maybe we can take a technical question now. Christoph, yes, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, I have a question on the AI side, of course. Regarding the prototype, did you guys build a model? And first of all, just let's agree: is it predicting what is the best crop to plant based on the inputs?
Yes, for now it is predicting that. Later on, we will enhance it to predict. So, for example, if you input the crop and you input other variables, it will predict, for example, if you need to irrigate it more, if you need to add more vitamins. But I think Hadi can elaborate further on the algorithm used.
Yes, so what Beatrice said it, that's what we do till now, but with a bit more data, we can suggest like pesticides. We can suggest what chemicals the farmer should put to increase his yields.
Okay, can you walk me through a bit the technical details of the model that you built and
yes,
the data
sure.
that you used?
Okay, so we used multi-class classification and okay, so we put 2 hidden layers and we trained the model. We got 98% accuracy, high 98s even. So it's very accurate, and with more data we can suggest more kinds of crops and as I said before, more details.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Imad, do you have a question?
A quick question, Hadi. What is the data set that was used?
We used a data set from India. So it had 22 examples of crops and all the data that is needed for each one.
So how large is the data set?
2,200 data sets. So it's 100 examples for each kind of crop.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you for the team. Thank you, judges. We now have team 40. Bobby Fit, are you guys ready?
Yes, we are ready. Just 1 second. I'm sharing my screen. Hello, everyone.
Sure. Hi.
So
okay, Eddie, we can see your screen.
Everyone is seeing my screen. Okay.
Yes, you can start.
Meet Khalil, a cattle farmer. Khalil is facing a decrease in the amount of milk production due to the misdetection of the cow heat phase, this critical phase of insemination, which is essential for cow breeding and increasing the daily milk yield. Heat missing can cost Khalil more than 300 Lebanese pounds in losses. Also, Khalil is not able to identify the volume of his daily production, which can sometimes cause him problems of sales in case of high production and fluctuation in supply chain in case of low production. So present BoviFit, a machine learning based software that gathers daily vital data the farmers used to log, and using artificial intelligence, it notices the minor data variations, in order to precisely predict heat phases, the best time to inseminate, and reduce loss risks. So Khalil will never miss a cow's heat phase with an accurate daily yield prediction tool per cow or per herd, with an intuitive user interface and a live consultancy feature. So back to our presentation. We are targeting a market worth 80,000 Lebanese cows and more than 5,000 Lebanese farmers, while our target in our first phase is 1,500 Lebanese farmers. Now we are working with our first customer, Scaf Farm, in order to develop our model and test it. Regarding our competitors, our service does not require expensive sensing equipment, which comes with a high maintenance costs. And it feels like the farmer is buying for each cow a smartwatch. Our model is also more accurate than old-fashioned basic softwares, while having at the same time a user-friendly interface with a live consulting feature. This software will be available to farmers in a freemium model with different payment plans and a trial phase. We are planning to validate our market in the next 3 months, while in parallel, we will be building and developing our service, so it will be fully functional at the end of 2021. We are planning also to integrate artificial intelligence image recognition in later stages. Meanwhile, we are collaborating with universities, research institutes, and ministries, and we are planning to expand to the MENA region market in the next few years. We will be in need of 25K divided for 5K to validation and development, 15K for building and testing our model, and 5K for marketing and sales. Meet our team, formed by me, Eli Boufaisal, Omar Awad, Robert Matta, and Yasmin Ascaf, from different backgrounds, will be joining our expertise and forces to make this happen. Join us to help Lebanese farmers save the Lebanese dairy production. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali, for your presentation. We can take the judges' questions now. Dr. Imad, do you have questions?
Thank you, Eli. Thank you, team. Could you please elaborate more on the prediction model and the data used and what was accomplished till now in that part?
Hello, Dr. Imad.
Hello.
So basically, I will talk on behalf of the technical team. So as you can see from our presentation is that we are aiming for simple usage and a simple solution. Now we are tackling two problems. To go over them again rapidly, we want to predict the yield, the milk yield of cows. Now we used a data set from Scaf Farms. It was a small data set because we only took a data set of one cow, a single cow, but over its lifespan. And what we did is that for the cow milk yield, we have done data visualization and cleaning, and we have witnessed a curve that is usually proven by science to be a concave second-degree curve, which usually is the output of milk in function of the number of days since calving. So when the cow gives birth, it starts giving milk, and usually it increases up until a certain day to reach a maximum, and then it goes down. Now, of course, there's a lot of unknown factors, but usually this is the curve that it follows. So what we are aiming to do is to use, for this matter,
anything prototyped on this. Eli, it's okay if you
want to use a polynomial regression algorithm for it because the curve is pretty simple. So we have a concave curve with a
just for the sake of time, Robert. Sorry, but anything modeled on this side, in this aspect, on the yield, did you model anything or not yet? You just have a plan?
Not yet, but we have analyzed the data. We have visualized it.
Okay.
And we know what to use.
Okay, my other question is, you have another prediction that you will do, is to predict the cows in heat, right?
The yield, the heat, yes.
The heat.
So
Yes.
for the heat, we will use a naive Bayes classifier because the heat cannot be detected accurately, but there is a probability. So we want to predict actual probability of the heat. So
yes.
usually
What are the inputs?
we have
just Robert, just the input. What are the inputs in this case, in this model?
Okay, the inputs in the case of heat are usually days since calving, because sorry, days since calving, because when the usually heat happens when the cow is not pregnant, when it does not have a baby inside of her. So what happens is that usually there are certain intervals of time between each heat. So usually a cow experiences heat for a limited time of 3 days. And if you are not able to target this time, you will miss it and you will lose some time of valuable milk output. And usually there's an interval of around 21 days between one heat period and the other. So when we visualize the data, we have seen that the highest probability is targeted.
Robert, Habibi, Robert, I just want to know, what are the inputs? What are the inputs to the model? So the days since last.
The inputs are the number of days since calving and the milk output, because they are directly correlated to the heat.
Okay, and did you build a model on this data? Do you have a data for this, and did you build a model on it? Yes or no?
Yes, we have a data for one cow actually,
and
but we couldn't choose machine learning because we didn't. No, we still do not have the machine learning model built because for the sake of time, we couldn't actually implement those algorithms that
okay, thank you.
I want to add something from an agricultural background, that when the cow has this heat phase, there is a fluctuation in its milk output. So these data we're taking them from the farm, and they are like pretty applicable in the machine learning. So these factors are directly influencing this. The data we use are directly influencing the heat, or influenced by the heat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Eli. Do we have any other questions from the mentors?
Nothing from my side. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to know, what are the current alternative dominant solutions that are used in Lebanon?
Okay,
basically it's all
there is.
well.
Yasmina was talking. I'm sorry.
No, you can continue, Eli. But basically, it's all visual because of the pouvoir d'achat. We cannot able Gaza Farm to purchase actually sensors and more developed technologies in this domain, and because there are very small farmers, so ما عندهم يعني كلهم ما عندهم pouvoir d'achat, and I think Eli will continue on that note.
I want to add to what Yasmina said, that mainly is visual, which sometimes in a big herds they can miss the vision because the big numbers, or sometimes in small camels they miss it because the staff maybe wasn't here during the signs of heat، حتى ما شافوا الهيت، لأنه الهيت عادة إلها فيجوال، إلها شغلات فيجوال أو شغلات يعني الساينس تبع يا فيجوال يا بالميلك اوتبوت بيكونوا ماينرجي. شغله ثانيه اذا بدنا نحكي عن الكومبيتيتورز في
Sorry, Eddie. I'm sorry, but we need to have the final team, so we took a lot of time.
30 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, so في عنا system بيكلف كتير sensing, which is like buying a smartwatch for each cow مع high maintenance cost. وفي system حيكون system كتير outdated بيعمل prediction على data invalid، بيعطينا false prediction. So our software حيكون بين الاثنين pretty accurate و more affordable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eli. So good luck, Team 40, and now we can have the last team, Greenotopia. So who will be sharing the screen? Okay, great.
Good afternoon. We're team number 44. Uthman and I are architectural engineering students, and Ibrahim Subuh is a software engineer. We'd like to start with a quote that inspired our whole process. What we are doing to the forests of the world is but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. So we'll be covering briefly what problems we're aiming to solve, how our intervention can tackle these issues along the help of AI, the business approach and the feasibility of the idea, and finally its impacts. Starting with the problems, on an agricultural level, it's really shocking that agriculture itself is a factor of global warming due to the clearance of land for farming, also known as deforestation. On an urban level, growing population leads to unstoppable urban sprawl, which is leading to retraction of green areas. Environmentally, climate change resulted in an enormous reduction in the food production, leading us to import food from outside. We're trying to solve these issues by retrofitting the existing buildings' facades with vertical landscapes, making us able to grow a wide range of crops in any climate and any season. Thanks to AI, of course, people can even harvest from their own apartment and benefits. Planters will be fixed on a stainless steel structure along the facades and induced with a network of piping system along with an AI algorithm, detecting soil degradation through soil sensors that eventually will help with our restoration plan using a machine learning model that feeds the soil with the necessary amount of minerals after weekly or monthly assessment of data, detecting weather changes through an API and analyzing these changes through a time series analysis model and studying their correlation with the humidity sensors. Semi-weekly feedback will help us build a deep learning model that can determine when the facades need to be watered and the amount of water necessary per each level of those facades. Integrating these two AI models into a watering pump system reservoir and a powder minerals reservoir can make the system a self-sustained ecosystem, and not only can predict the plant's needs, but also ensure them a healthy lifestyle. This is a sneak peek of the code. So if we dive in the planter itself, you can see the positioning of the sensors in soil and the pesticide sprinkler. Now with the business model, we'll start by constructing the green facade, supplying residents with crops. In the future, we aim to develop an application with a premium subscription named Green Plus. It will notify the residents when the harvest and the condition of their plants. We also aim to implement facades on existing buildings, not only prior to construction, but also we aim to reach the roof. To make it happen, we need those items that are basically cheap in relation to their impacts. Also, we aim to partner with contracting agencies and governmental institutions, leading us to expand globally. Our process is really easy. The marketing journey starts with earning credibility and proving efficiency. Then, gaining customers' trust in our self-sustained ecosystem is our priority. They don't have to worry about their crops. Our AI system got them covered. Also, we will always be providing constant updates and technical support along with maintenance. Our intervention will save 20% less than traditional farming techniques. According to International Data Corporation, $58 billion will be spent on AI. That's a lot of money, but at least we'll guarantee 100% success. This will lead to 14% growth in GDP, only through AI and agriculture. Isn't it convincing to invest in our prototype? We won't leave you without knowing the impact. It will reduce deforestation, become less dependent on typical farming, and filter indoor quality. Most of all, reduction in buildings' life cost through minimizing energy consumption on the long term. What could be better than a green utopian city named Beirut? Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Khaled. Thank you for the team. We can take questions now. Christoph, do you have questions for the team?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. First of all, who is the target customer in your case?
If I can explain. So basically, our target customer is for residential buildings. Usually people have crops on their balconies or have something on their balcony to like decoration plants or even crops, normal crops, and they just forget to take care of them. So that's the main idea, is to actually make an ecosystem inside the building that is able to take care of the plants for them. This is from a marketing perspective. And on the other side, it will make the building greener. And this can be implemented with a contractor like Khatib and Alami from the first steps of constructing the architecture of the building. It can be implemented later on.
Yeah, so this is not for the direct consumer. It's basically for the contractor who is building
Yes.
the
So
building
our idea
itself, right?
was to divide the cost on us and the contractor at first, because the initial can be a little bit high, since we need to train this model, and to make this ecosystem we need to have at least a beta version of this to see the impact on one ecosystem outside of these buildings, and then we're gonna try our first model. So basically, it needs a little bit investment from our part, and an investment from the contractor side that will eventually reflect on his benefit, on his revenues, especially because this type of structures aim to grab the attention of people who have already عندهم اهتمام بالagriculture and ecosystems.
So, but eventually the person who is going to be paying for this is the contractor, not the...
Not only the contractor. The contractor will pay for this, but this will increase the unit price little, like
Okay,
small
I
amount
get
of the cost will be divided per unit, since our plan is to make compounds of facades. It's not just like facades. So basically, every level of every story of the building will have a compound of facades, and all of the compounds are connected through a piping, water piping system into an AI machine that feeds them the enough amount of water, enough amount of minerals. Since we took care of everything basically. Sorry, Asman, can you go to the rocket?
I think I got the idea. Just because we're a bit out of time. Can you just...
Yeah, I can
ahead.
answer. Sorry, قطشتك, so you can ask.
I wanted to ask about the technical prototype. Have you built anything, and what did you do so far?
The time was very scarce, so I have like a vision of what I should do. So basically, I didn't find a lot of data, but I found something from National Park in the US about soil moisture, soil temperature sensors data that are updated on a regular daily basis. And I ran a linear regression on both of these. My model would be taking 2 or 3 models of machine learning predictions and feeding them into a deep learning model that will predict if all of these conditions combined, the correlation between all these conditions will tell the machine, the deep learning AI, if he has to feed the plants by level, of course.
This is currently built?
This is currently under research in Japan.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm sorry, we will not be able to take more questions. Does any of the judges had something urgent to ask?
No, thank you.
Okay, great.
No.
So
I would like just add something. To make this system a self-sustained ecosystem, it needs a minimal human intervention by semi to annually maintenance to come and check up on the system using the administrative user interface built on the building rooftop.
I'm sorry, we're good, I think, Brahim. Thank you so much. So the judges maybe are ready to go into the breakout rooms. We are short on time. I'm sorry. You did, guys, a great job. We'll come back in a few. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So the judges, you will be invited into a breakout room to discuss your results, and we'll come back in a few and announce the winners. So stay here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the judges are in the breakout rooms now. Can you guys open your cameras? Like, this is the closing ceremony, and I know it's tense now, so maybe we can just like talk a bit, get to know more about your experience. So just to make things easier until the judges and the results are out. So who would like to give us their feedback about the hackathon, the overall experience? How was it? Someone talking? Okay, so maybe if you want, we can go in order of the teams. Like, do we have people from team number 3 still with us?
يلا نحن تيم 40 لكن بعد ما تطلع النتيجة.
طب خلاص go ahead إذا بدك إلي يلا tell us about your experience.
بس أول شيء يعطيهم العافية الشباب كلهم شباب والصبايا والمنتورينج يعني it was a great hackathon صراحة.
Great.
وكمان it was tense a bit yesterday. كان في كتير pressure لأنه كنا عم نشتغل coding technical business مع كذا شغلة ف it was kind of tense بس ما شاء الله تكون worth it.
Yeah, hackathons are like that usually, so it's good that you enjoyed the experience. That's great. So anyone else likes to give us some feedback?
Yes, since we're talking about Team 40, I would like to add, because I attended the boot camp too.
Yeah.
I would like to add that me and my teammate, we actually met on Slack, and I'm glad we were 4 strangers and we actually made it this far to the finals. So really, it was something. And for the boot camp, it was really informative. But what annoyed me a bit was it was a bit fast paced. So sometimes if we missed something, it was hard for us to catch up. So sometimes it accumulates.
Yeah.
But the rest was very interesting. It was very helpful and everything.
I mean,
so thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for your feedback and for attending. I mean, the bootcamp is like 5 days giving a very thorough explanation about the different topics. So eventually it has to be a bit compact, but at least now you know the jargon, the basic stuff. So whenever you want to move on in the field, you have to base. So yeah, that's the point. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. And I'm glad that the team is, you were strangers, and you met on Slack. That's really great. It's good to have that, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So who else would like to give us their feedback? Tawfiq, yes, he wanted to.
Yes, it's actually an amazing hackathon. Very nice experience, and best of luck for the winners.
Of course, best of luck for everyone. Thank you, Tawfiq.
Thanks.
Okay. Who else would like to give us insights about how the event was? Yeah, Omar, Akid, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So it was a very beneficial hackathon for me. Though agriculture is not my domain of expertise, I have previously worked in the agriculture field before, but I felt that being tossed straight into a hackathon, since I'm undergoing career change at the moment, I'm studying data science and machine learning. I felt, there was some pressure, obviously, but I felt it was very beneficial to gain some practical knowledge. So yes, this was a great move from my part going forward. And thank you guys. Thank you for organizing a great bootcamp and a great hackathon as well.
That's great. That's great. It's good to have you with us. So yeah, exactly. The projects at the end are the ones that you get to actually learn. So it's good. It's good that you got that experience from it.
Yes, exactly. You're right.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. So who else do we have? So you guys, I would like to, before we move on with the feedback, I would like to announce something to you. So I can tell you all enjoyed the overall experience, the community, the things that are happening with us. So, and since you are parts of our event and exclusively we're announcing to you, next month we will be launching our membership program. So through this program, you'll get to benefit from more exposure, more networking and connections with Beirut AI people and with AI experts and practitioners in Lebanon who will be joining our membership program, and they will as well be helping with probably advancing your AI career. So we thought we would let you know first that we are launching this membership program soon. So stay tuned on your emails, on the social media. We'll be giving more details about how to register. And if you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and ask as well. Okay, so I think that's good for now. Do you have other stuff you want to talk about the bootcamp?
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Was the jury expecting us to have data sets for our prototype, or I found them pretty much focused on that part?
Basically, to properly build an AI model, you need a good data set. So it's like it comes with the prototype itself, if you want. So so usually the data set kind of tells you if your prototype, if your model will perform well or not. So like it helps a lot with that part. So that's why they would focus on the data set.
Oh, okay. We were more focused on the concept itself and how the program will work, but we required the data set, you know, because it was a limited period of time and the resources were limited. So
True.
I hope they take that into consideration.
Yeah, it is like a hackathon, like 3 days, so it's all understandable. Don't worry about it. So yeah. So are you guys stressed about the results, or?
Well,
kind of.
We are.
I can tell, like you don't even want to say, like, okay.
You know, it's part of the process.
Yeah, it is very tense.
Yeah, it is. It's good that you reached this part, though, the live part, and it's even more exciting.
Exactly.
سوري بس
أنا
بدي أسألك
شو go ahead now.
بس بدي أسألك أي ساعة الريزولتس؟
هلا like 2 minutes مفروض و the judges will
سريعين okay. Thank you.
They were grading as you were presenting, and then they're going to discuss the results in the breakout room, and then they're going to announce.
تمام.
I'm gonna ask.
Hello.
Hi. Reem, you have a question قبل ما
شو كنتوا عم تعملوا؟
Okay, so basically we're giving feedback about the overall experience. We announced the membership program, and that's it. Would you like to give us your feedback, Brahim?
بصراحة هيدا البوت كامب من أصعب الأشياء اللي عملتها بحياتي. صراحة.
That's good, مفروض.
Yeah, it's in a good way. It made me like realize the threshold that I have.
Okay,
that
great.
is bigger. Like أنا عارفة إنه I can هالقد sustain myself to آخذ هالقد معلومات بهالقد short time وأعمل project ب 17 ساعة and still be able to pitch. This is like it's a superhero mission أو عرفت علي impossible mission.
So Brahim, are you willing to continue with your project even if you were not selected the last 3 winners?
أكيد. Honestly إنه أنا حأشتغل بال AI eventually. يعني أنا هلا in a couple of months I'm gonna be working إنه in the my masters on the AI field. So this is not gonna go for nothing.
Cool.
This is gonna be like something that I can continue on with وتطور أكتر من هيك. عم بحكي from a model type.
Okay. Who wanna share his future track in AI? Who would like to do that? I think Dalia has bad connection.
Yay, the first time we see you.
Yeah. I'm in the substitution of Dalia and Larissa in case if they face any question. Who would like to talk about his future plans? What are you planning to do, whether in PhD or career?
Honestly, بس بدي أقول شغلة team 40 their idea is amazing.
So even if you are not the winner, you are going to continue in the future, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Brahim, I guess the rest of my team didn't hear you. You said our idea is nice. Maybe I
Thank you, thank you. La, I was waiting for him. Like
the idea is amazing actually, and it has a potential.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
It was good. هلا بهيدا الستريس والتنشن عطيتنا يعني
خبركم شغله انه انا
I think I have a bad connection too.
One of my uncles works in the AI field and he's working on the crop growing life cycle and also on the yield and the cow. هذا الشيء اللي عم تشتغلوا عليه. He's already working on it.
Where? When?
بجامعة ستانفورد.
Okay.
بكاليفورنيا.
Yes, بكاليفورنيا.
It's good, Ibrahim, you are sharing your experience.
بعدها under development القصة.
Same here.
Same here. Sorry يا إبراهيم I was talking بس نقطع الكهرباء عندي.
We are all having the same issue. يا كهرباء يا internet, so no problem.
Lebanon.
So we have Rocco who's saying that he will apply to the program with Microsoft. Ah, nice.
That's a promising career.
Okay, Eli has a lot of tension. Don't worry, Eli. You did well.
Thank you. لا هيدا على فكرة this is the only thing you can remember from hackathons. Assisting hackathons على طول فيها هيدا intention بكل شيء بكل الphases. So أو حتى بالentrepreneurship.
This is your first hackathon?
No,
this
that's
your first one?
my
fourth. Okay, cool.
لا هيدا
hackathon ما فايت فيه دايما.
So cool.
I'm more into entrepreneurship than like يعني كل شيء. I have agri food industry background engineering وعم بحب أعملها diverting to entrepreneurship because I do believe that entrepreneurship can make that change maybe.
Okay, Dalia is back with us, I think.
Yes, hi.
Miss you.
Electricity issues as well. So
you missed a lot.
بس سوري امتى حيطلعوا نتائج؟
Are you stressed?
ما مبين من صوتي قد عم برج.
You all did fine. So I'm not sure if anyone wants to share anything more, like Nadim, Osama, Samir. Come on, guys.
أنا عمالي أقول شيء عن فكرة إنه mixing up the hackathon يعني putting the hackathon as the project for the bootcamp.
Yeah, sure.
هلا if the project's purpose إنه to apply AI that we learned in the 20 hours that we just completed حسينا إن إحنا كتيم إنه the more focus أكتر كان على ال business side of our project. يعني كان عندنا بس one team member قاعد يشتغل على ال AI part. نعم؟
على technical side you mean.
إيه فإنه هلا إذا كانت إذا بدكم إياها تكون project لل AI إنه ما كثير هيك اشتغلنا hands on بس لا بس أنا كثير يعني I'm grateful لأنه انجبرت فوت بالهاكاثون لأنه هيك إنه فتح إنه ما كنت متخيل إنه أعمل هيك project إنه كمان خلتني أفكر إنه بلا إنه عندي مصلحة إنه أفكر بهيك أشياء لأنه بلدنا بيعوز ولأنه في opportunities وهيك.
Exactly.
يعني في.
Yes, go ahead, Nadim.
No, go ahead.
هلا I know it's tough, especially I don't know if it's your first bootcamp ever or first AI ever.
Yeah, كل experience جديد علي.
Yeah, هلا نحن we shared with you also to share your prototype code in case you want to practice more to develop your code to move on. We can help you and assist you in the future where you'll be able to apply your technical skills. So at the same time, the Agri Hackathon will be a plus within whether in experience, business model, technical, meeting new people, new team from outside the bootcamp. So So if you are interested, you can share your code using the link we sent on Slack, and then we can contact you later on to develop it if you'd like to do that. And anyone
we'll
else
discuss
also.
with the team بس انه هي the idea we came up with the idea انه هيك just to هيك apply to register there. بس لا, I'm grateful for the experience يعني, thank you.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It was nice. So anyone regrets that they shared the... Wait, just a minute. Anyone regret that they entered the bootcamp and the AGRI Hackathon?
Honestly, the only regret is to have it online. I'm not like, we cannot see you, we cannot interact with you.
Yeah, hopefully in our future events. Hopefully in our future events, we will be, due to Corona, we should take the vaccine soon. So I'm sorry, I'm losing internet too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm having bad connection. If you can go ahead, Daria.
It's okay. So yeah, inshallah, like soon we can go back to events that are not online to benefit from the whole experience. Okay, so are you guys excited?
Whom do you think he was going to win? Which team? Let's bet.
They're nervous. I think مفروض ما بقى مطورين results.
Are all stressed out?
You can tell from their faces. Layan, you seem too stressed out.
No, I'm not stressed. I'm just
okay.
waiting.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so Hassan Musa is offering his help for technical assistance if you all need any. Thank you, Hassan. Let's see.
So Daria, why you don't introduce yourself here one more time about your previous experience in the boot camp? And yeah, and are you still a student or professional?
Yeah, okay, so for now, I'm still a student and I'm a senior biomedical engineering student at RHU. I took the bootcamp last August and we won first place in the project. So, so I understand when you talk about the stress of the results and the stress of the 5 days of the bootcamp and how much information you get. But right now, my senior project is AI based. So so I can easily say that the bootcamp was the main push for me to be able to have a project in AI. So yeah, that's basically it.
Cool. So are you planning to continue your PhD in AI or master's?
That's the plan. Inshallah, yani. Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all want that.
Good luck. Thank you.
Anyone from the team is in the professional career, or most of you are students? Someone is working like in IT, development, AI? No one? All students? Nadim is a student.
Ibrahim, you're professional?
Yes, I'm a software engineer. صار لي شي 5 سنين بشتغل.
Okay.
Oh, cool. You have experience then.
That's why I decided to go into AI basically because I have enough experience to أتعلم بعد أكتر. ما حبيت دغري كفي الماسترز.
Great.
Good choice.
How did you find it يعني compared لأنه what you do? It's helpful.
أنا حببتني بالفيلد أكتر يعني وصلت لمرحلة هسه بحس الفيلد كتير مونوتون بس لما بلشت اقرا شوي عن الاي اي وهيك صراحه يعني شجعتني كفي الماستر اكثر وكفي بالفيلد هيدا اللي انا فيه.
Perfect.
So it's not just about programming, it's about basically analysis, it's about intuition, it's about a lot of factors. مش بس بدك تكوني programmer لتكوني منيح a good AI scientist.
صح, true. It combines all the different aspects for coming up with a good project يعني. So exactly what you're saying.
You'll have to have a lot of knowledge in many fields. ما فيك هيك أي حدا ما فيك يكون data scientist أو AI scientist.
True. You're talking math, statistics, domain expertise.
Biology.
Exactly. Exactly. It has to be based on your project.
والحلو انه بتخليك تروحي وين ما بدك، فيك تكوني بنكلير باور بلانت، فيك تكوني بمحل بيصنعوا سيارات، فيك تكوني وين ما بدك بحطوك بيسكلي. ما بقى بالصورة بروجرامينج.
Yes, exactly. It's always a shock, you know, you ask about a field and like, can you integrate AI in this field? And the answer is always yes. So yeah, that's one of the cool things about AI.
Adding AI to the agricultural sector is talking in Lebanon يعني is one of the best things can يعني anyone do to حتى نعمل evolution بهذا السيكتور، لأنه it can come with like a relatively low cost than like robotics وقصص اللي كانوا يعملوا فكروها التكنولوجي هي تكلف كتير which is not feasible. بس ال AI at the same time it could be an affordable way which always the farmer needed affordable وبتعطي solutions كتير يعني كتير effective كتير accurate بأني مجال.
Exactly, true. It's challenging to find to correctly find the proper AI solution for an agricultural problem. So, but exactly, it is better than the solutions available.
مشكلة بلبنان وهلا يعني it's kind of giving inspiration for anyone who thinking for any further project. إنه there is no data يعني the AI is based on data gathering, data analysis, which in Lebanon no farmer gathers data. If حدا جمع data, there won't be like really directed to the really related to the problem, which is pretty hard to apply.
True. Exactly. Yes. So who else would like to give?
ما بعرف إذا لاحظت الروcket and green the symbol of the boot camp in my presentation. Did you notice that I changed the color of the صاروخ?
لا, my bad. I know I saw a rocket but I didn't relate it.
So I used the same model وعدلت له الألوان تاعوله to be a green rocket.
Cool.
It was so funny.
I was thinking, Salwa, can you give us your feedback about the event? As an ambassador at the Beirut AI.
Yeah.
About both experiences and tell us more.
First of all, hi Dalia. Well, I'll start with my experience with the ambassador program. It's a privilege Amjad to be in this program. It's أول شيء you build a community لأنه it's so cool to meet people from all over Lebanon, all over like all the other universities in Lebanon. يعني it breaks this bubble of you in your own university. So that part is really cool, and also like getting to help out with like all the logistics with Beirut AI and stuff. So that is also very fun. As for the boot camp was great. As like some of you have said, it's very intensive, but it was very fun. The hackathon was enlightening عن جد يعني المنتورship sessions كانوا كتير يعني عن جد استفدنا منهم, so I really liked that part. وإنه إنه you don't always have the motivation or the chance to work on a project and finish it in just like maybe 48 hours. So that was very cool.
Great. It's good to hear.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Ilkon, for enjoying it to actually sticking till the end. يعني that's the great projects you've done despite the التعب during the week. So
yeah.
Thank you, Ilkon.
Thank you.
It's good to hear that feedback.
Sorry, can someone, Dalia or Reem, talk about how you integrated the Beirut AI and how it's done? I don't know.
Okay, so basically, Beirut AI started, so Christophe Zoghbi, who was your judge, he started Beirut AI in 2017 with the initial mission of actually having AI in Lebanon. So we all know that there is no much focus on this field. So it started with regular meetups with experts in AI, in the AI field. They would just come and talk about their experiences, how they used AI in their projects. Mainly, we know like it's mainly in research, these stuff. So then it was like on a bigger scale to have workshops, to actually teach people AI, and then it moved to an organization with regular events, regular activities to be able to introduce everyone to AI. So,
yeah, I meant about إنه أنتوا أيمتى قررتوا إنه تفوتوا على الكوميونتي and your position and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so I started as a student ambassador as well. I wanted, I heard about the boot camp, I heard about all the events. So it was still كان قطع January, so like I couldn't attend the previous boot camp. I couldn't wait till August. I wanted to join the community, so I applied as a student ambassador. I got in. Then I worked as a project leader on the AI weekend, the event that happened last November. And now I'm the community manager at Beirut AI. So
okay.
That's how I reached here. Reem, would you like to talk about you?
Basically, I work in the IT field for more than 8 years, maybe 9, I'm not sure. I guess 8. And then later on, I decided to continue my master's degree in AUB, engineering management. And my research interest was in human ergonomics. I'm not sure if you know about it. It's somehow a new field. And later on, I decided to merge my two study fields, but in computer engineering, engineering management, and human ergonomics with AI. And I'm planning to continue my PhD. My research area will be about human ergonomics and AI. So I started to study more about AI. I'm somehow not an expert in this field, and I took some certificates. While searching, I found that they are searching for probably maybe. So I joined them lately, and this is my first event handled with Beirut AI, and hopefully not the last one. I really enjoyed everything.
We enjoyed having you with us, Reem.
Thank you. So I'm not sure if the results will be out, I guess.
Yeah, I think the judges are here. Okay.
Good luck, everyone.
So hi, everyone.
Hi, Larissa.
How was the break?
It was good. They're all stressed. They want to know the results.
Same here. Actually, it was tough. Guys, you all did a great job. And it was really, really hard for us to have a quick conversation on the results. So that's why we had to take some more time. Let me share my screen. Wait a minute. I'm having some
Someone play drum rolls.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I have a problem with my screen. Okay. I just want to make sure that I will not. I will add the drum rolls. So I'll go into full screen. Okay. Sorry, guys, it took some time because I don't want to remove the excitement. So now everything is good. So as I said, it took us a lot of time in order to check which team deserved to win. But as I mentioned, guys, you did a great job. And we had actually a tie into the 4th and 5th, if you want, spot. So I just want to give a recognition because you did good, and we couldn't give you any prize because we already mentioned that we just have 3 prizes. But make sure you apply into the AgriTech if you want accelerator. Maybe you'll have a chance to win. So the 4th and 5th that really did great and had a tie were Gradient Descent and Bugsby Gone. So guys, you did a great job. Please apply to the AgriTech accelerator. And now, as for the 3rd prize, let's try to do the drums. Oh, okay, wait. I need to share with the sound. I forgot this. Okay, now. Okay, and the 3rd winner is Bobby Fit. So guys, congratulations. You deserve a round of applause.
Hey!
So everyone.
Bravo, thank you so much. Thank you.
This is a virtual round of applause. So guys, this is congratulations. You did a great job. And the 2nd prize goes to it's not going. Tecponics. Guys, you did a really also great job.
Thank you
should
so much.
deserve a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You won the 2nd prize.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And the 1st winner is... Are you excited? Green Vision. Guys, congratulations. You won the 1st prize. You did a great job. So here are the recap. So Green Vision, you won the 1st prize. Tecponics, you win the 2nd prize, and Bovifit, you won the 3rd prize. Congratulations! You also have more than just those prizes, but now it's time to celebrate together. You can open the cam and we can just maybe take a picture and share some thoughts. As I mentioned, please, everyone did a great job. You reached the finalist. Please apply for other competitions. You have a potential in your idea, and you deserve to win another competition maybe, or even apply to other competitions in Beirut AI. So please do follow us, and let's take maybe a picture. So